Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hey guys, I started prematurely. Welcome back to J is for Justice. I hope everybody is doing well this Wednesday evening. This is our daily or our weekly call-in show. We do call-ins every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and then we're live Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you. Shell and Potato and Olive, thank you for coming in and moderating today. I appreciate that. Good to see all of you. Look at the honey pots. Barbecue lady must be in the house somewhere because I don't get honey pots. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. So today we're going to take your calls, but before we open up the phone lines, I'm going to actually go over something with you guys. This is a resource that I was listening to Granny's watching the other day, and she had like this woman called in and she had like the best information, and I looked it up and I wanted to share it with you guys. And I'm really glad that this lady called in because I didn't know that this existed. And I think that you guys, I got a lot out of this, and I think that you guys will too when you recognize some of the signs. This is actually an official guide. It's called When Your Child is Missing. And just hear me out, guys, because this is going to resonate with a lot of the things, especially right now, that we're seeing going on in Sebastian's case. So hear me out and let me just start running through this, and then we'll open up, take your calls. I'll read your comments in the chat. I want to hear what you guys think, but I definitely want to go over this. Thank you, Barbecue. I've never seen anything like this. And, this is what I call the blueprint, if you will. The blueprint for families and parents of missing children. And of course, it's not going to be a tell-all thing, but let's walk through it. So in the beginning, the search. When a child is reported missing, emotions become raw, which can hinder the ability of parents to make rational decisions. Yet the actions of parents and law enforcement in the first 48 hours are critical to the safe recovery of a missing child. Knowing what you can do and what others can do and where to go for help will not only expedite the search and recovery, but will ease the emotional and financial burden of the search. So the first thing we're going to look at is the parent's role in the search. The first 48 hours, okay? In the initial stage of the search, devote your time to providing information 2, and answering questions from investigators. Once you discover your child is missing, you will desperately want to help with the search. You may, in fact, wonder how you can stand by and let others look for your child. But the reality is, in most instances, the best use of your energy is not on the physical search itself. Rather, you need to provide information, 2, and answer questions from investigators and be at home in the event your child calls. The checklist gathering evidence in the first 48 hours identifies the most crucial pieces of evidence, of background information and evidence that law enforcement will need. Okay. So the next one is the role of law enforcement in the search. When a child has disappeared, most of the initial searching of the area where the child is believed to have been last will be coordinated by law enforcement, either federal, state, or local, depending on the circumstances. Law enforcement needs to direct the search effort in order to make sure that the search is performed properly and that the evidence located during the search and at the crime scene is properly protected and preserved. Usually, law enforcement agencies can quickly obtain the necessary equipment and mobilize additional personnel by bringing in outside forces, which we know they did in Sebastian's case too. And then it says, all of the things they can use, which we know, all of the training dog, tracking, trailing dogs, infrared devices that locate heat given off from body, helicopters, drones, Border Patrol, the Coast Guard, the National Guard, and other military personnel or correctional institution staff. Many of these groups are already trained in search procedures, and their established chain of command makes the search effort likely to be more thorough, comprehensive, and efficient. In addition, the FBI maintains field offices that have evidence response teams that could be of assistance in cases of missing or abducted children. Thank you so much, Nikki. Oh, thank you, Barbecue, for bringing your peeps here. I appreciate that. That's so nice of you guys. Okay, so the next one is, in many communities, law enforcement have established a plan similar to an emergency relief or disaster plan to guide their search and recovery efforts. Ask your law enforcement agency about its plan. So then we move forward. Typically, your law enforcement agency will designate 1 or 2 persons to coordinate and manage the search. Ask for the name and telephone number of your law enforcement coordinator as soon as possible. Keep this information where you can find it. Keep the lines of communication open between you and your search coordinator. Don't be afraid to ask questions, make suggestions, or air differences of opinion. Now, this is on a missing child where the parents aren't suspects. Law enforcement communication is open. Them lines are open. You guys are called honeys? How cute. We're the clickers. That darn internet, man. They were click, 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 click. Thank you, Miranda. Welcome all the honeys. Honey childs. So I thought that was interesting because the line of communication with law enforcement and the parents in this case is nil. I mean, Chris says they're communicating. We don't know about the Proudfoots, but Seth says they're not. So that I noticed, that was crazy. And searches can be conducted in several ways. A crime scene search of the areas where your child was last seen, a door-to-door search, a grid search, a land, sea, or air search, a roadblock search where they stop cars. Scott H., thanks for being a member for 6 months, my man. My YouTube hubby. Oh, we got to do a Scott H. soundbite for that. Thank you, Scott H.
Fuck directly off.
That's Scott H. A proud clicker, Jenny Bell. I love to have you. Sebastian's clickers. So, all right. They also, okay, so it says, because people are creatures of habit and tend to take the same route each day, roadblock searches sometimes produce witnesses who saw your child. Then it goes down here. Records documenting which areas were searched, who was present, and what was found will be kept. Law enforcement will maintain a record showing what areas have been searched and by whom. A second search of critical areas for information and clues might be advisable because something may have been overlooked during the initial search. Tracking or trailing dogs, preferably bloodhounds, should be brought immediately to the scene where your child was last seen. The fresher the trail, the more likely the dogs will be able to find your child. Bloodhounds are your best bet because they have 60 times the tracking power of German Shepherds, can discriminate among scents, and can follow your child's scent in the air and on the ground. Remember, Max did pick back up. Max was a hound dog, wasn't he? Thank you, Sandra Diaz. Thank you so much for your super sticker. I thought that was nuts, right? I mean, Max ran, like, remember the handler was out of breath and Max ran to the pond and dove in. So knowing that, 60 times the tracking power right away, and then they can smell it in the air and the ground. I thought that was pretty cool. This means they may be able to pick up your child's scent even if he or she was carried in someone's arms or in a vehicle. Interesting. It says here, if you don't have a cell phone, get one. Ask law enforcement to install a trap and trace on your phone. Because, you never know. If somebody has your kid, they may call you, right? They may call you. I'd be like, trace my phone. Do everything, The role of volunteers in the search. This is where we get to what I really wanted. You guys, thank you, Island. My favorite shirt. This is what I really wanted to share with you guys. This is what has been the issue lately. We have volunteers that don't look so good being volunteers in kids' cases. We have a lot of people that are legitimate and want to help. And they're also being flung through the mud, if you will. And I don't like it.
Flung.
So I want to talk about the role of volunteers in the search for a missing child. If volunteers are used in the search, your law enforcement agency should still be responsible for managing the overall search effort. The extent to which volunteers are used will depend on whether additional personnel beyond the military are needed. A volunteer search coordinator may be needed to organize the volunteer search effort. Thank you, Lisa Rose. Oh my gosh, that emoji, you guys. Thank you, guys. I see a lot of members in here. Don't forget to join us in Discord Saturday at 7 p.m. Watch party. But yeah, beyond the military and a search coordinator may be needed. Try to recruit established. Now, this is important for those in the back. Tony and his team, TikTok Tony's team, the 4 T's. The 4 T's.
Why are people such idiots?
I want to go back to phones on the wall. Me too, Cuts Sharp. I'm with you. Annie Banani, thank you for your $10 super sticker. Happy Wednesday. All right, so let's get into the role of volunteers. And let's see how this matches up to what we currently are seeing from the team. If volunteers are using your search, yes. Hang on. I'm at the wrong paragraph. I'm getting ahead of myself. To recruit established organizations, the key word here is established. Thank you for becoming a member, Melissa. Melissa Firestone. Thank you so much. Let's give her a flute. Bing bong. Yeah, late nights with Tone. Potsy McPots. Hey, Island. Hey, Megan. Hey, Terry Lynn. Where is the literature from? Hang on. The Office of Juvenile something. It's ojjdp.ojp.gov. Office of Juvenile. I would have to go to the site, and I don't want to lose my page because I'm in the PDF. I'll tell you. I'll give you guys the link. I definitely am going to share this on my community. I'm going to share it in my Facebook and on X because I think this is something that is important. Not that it's a know-all guide, but I heard a creator say last night, I'm going to still entertain this, basically. And basically, there's no blueprint for when a child goes missing. And this is kind of a blueprint. This is the closest thing we have. Thank you, Theory Lynn. 1 month, baby. I love you. Oh, I love your new picture. You look beautiful. All right. So the key word here is established, right? Established people. Established organizations. Not someone who comes out of the woodwork and says, hey, man, I helped my coworker and that worked out pretty good for me. So how about you let me help you out? Majestic Peacock. I would love to answer that. Jay, was that ride really for veterans and we piggyback off them for Sebastian's? I'm so confused on that. All I know is that Jelly Roll was on the side of the road for a veterans run. It wasn't the same bikes. That's all I know. If you can't hear anything, you might want to leave and come back, but you can't hear me say that, so it doesn't matter. All right. So anyways, moving forward, this is very interesting. So try to recruit established organizations, agencies, or groups rather than individual volunteers in the search. The use of affiliated groups makes it possible to quickly gather and organize a large number of volunteers. It also provides an inner chain of command, which makes communication and training easier and provides an internal screening mechanism. See that? Screening. An internal screening. Do you know what that means? It means vetting, aka vetting. This is what you do before you bring people in, is you vet them. So they're saying organizations that are already established will have the resources. I heard he speaks to him 300 times a day. R8. Not 3, but 300. His friendships are on this scale of phone calls per day. I talk to him 100 times a day. I talk to him 100 times a day. I talk to him 5 times. Well, guess what? You never talk to me 0 because I don't want to talk to you. Never.
What the fuck is this? And everybody's like, what the fuck is this?
And Shell was the first one to hit a 48-month membership. That's so awesome.
Roberta.
Okay. I'm just going to keep going because I'm getting off track. So I'm not going to look at chat for a minute. The use of, okay, so I read that. When volunteers are used, request that the volunteer staging area be located away from your home. There will be enough traffic, chaos, and confusion at your home without the added burden of volunteer search teams. All volunteer searchers should be required to sign in each time they participate in a search activity. The sign-in procedure can be as simple as asking the searchers to show their driver's license and to list in a logbook their name, address, and organizational affiliations, such as the Boy Scouts, local labor union, place of business, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and keep all the records. A more elaborate sign-in procedure involves videotaping the sign-in search efforts. Although it is impossible to videotape every search from start to finish, videotapes that show the searchers, the sign-in process, and the search locations can provide valuable information about possible clues and suspects. Some situations that may seem innocent initially, such as the repeated appearance of an overly concerned searcher, may not be as innocent as they appear. Yes, Nikki. Chloe was vetting everyone. And in Seth's words, he said, she wanted to vet everyone. She even wanted to know what kind of shoe size they wore when they were born.
Babies with them high top white shoes on, with the real hard bottom. When they about
Who complains about vetting people that are going to search for your child? It doesn't make sense. Okay. So I thought that was interesting. We have enough people with fucking cameras, right? Don't stream it. Record it. A more elaborate, and I'm not, Terry Lynn, I'm not directing that at you. You know that. You fucking know that. I'm not directing that at you, Terry Lynn. I want to make that abundantly clear before people get their fucking little fingers moving on their keyboards and tell her I'm talking shit, because I'm not. Absolutely, Potato. They should be fucking grateful she took the time to vet people. Of course. Of course. You should be so gracious of anyone that would show up and show out, you know? Request that law enforcement run background checks on persons volunteering for the search for prior criminal activity.
What you are witnessing is real. The participants are not actors.
Request that law enforcement run background checks on persons volunteering for the search for prior criminal activities. In previous cases, thieves, pedophiles, and even the missing child's abductor have been known to join in a search. Background checks can prevent misguided people from volunteering and sometimes can provide information that helps law enforcement conduct the search. So if this was being done the right way, none of these criminals would have been given any time of the day, right? Bing bong. No, they wouldn't have been given the time of day. And the thing that bothers me the most about Seth is that he was mad. Terry, thank you for your donation. Terry Lynn, I appreciate you. And you know I didn't mean that towards you at all. Hey, Wuzzy. No, they have to ask for these things, Terry. Like, law enforcement's not just going to be like, oh, hey. So Chloe, was doing this and it got someone really mad. And I don't know why. Oh, I have no idea, Tammy. That person, you know what? Who doesn't matter, or the people that mind don't matter, and the people that matter don't mind. Does that make any lick of sense to anybody? Neither does it to me.
Bing bong.
Okay. Have your volunteer coordinator talk to law enforcement, which right here, to determine whether additional equipment or personnel are needed. Contact NCMEC, your state's missing persons, Okay. Further information about resources that can help in the search can be obtained by calling NCMEC. And we know that Sebastian is on the NCMEC. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what that is. Established in 1984 as a private nonprofit organization, NCMEC serves as a clearinghouse of information on missing and exploited children. It provides technical assistance to both citizens and LE, distributes photographs and descriptions, and networks with nonprofit service providers. So there says where their headquarters are. After the first 48 hours. So that was just the first 48 hours. Okay. First 2 days. He got mad because it was taking so long, so he just brought in some felons. Fuck it. I'm not waiting for you to clear the people that are here in our town. Fuck it. Just bring in the felons. That doesn't even make sense. It's so irresponsible.
Bing bong.
Melissa Firestone, thank you for your $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Don't listen to Tony, Glenda. Yes, thank you, barbecue lady. She said she talked to TBI yesterday regarding the Amber Alert, 100% fake. It was AI, just like we thought. How long was it taking? I don't understand. He didn't say he was mad because it was taking too long. He said he's mad because she wants to vet everybody. Don't they, though? Background checks aren't hard to do. All you're checking for is a criminal record. I mean, you're not getting a DNA sample and shit. It doesn't take long to run a background check. And it says here that if you request the police will do it, they'll do it for you. They'll do it for you. Richard, thank you. They take 5 minutes. It's like clickety, clickety, click. You know, like we do all day on these fucking keyboards. Clickety, click with your thumbs. It's easy. Jacqueline, who was the lady? I don't know. Ask barbecue lady who Tony was talking to on there. I don't know any of those TikTok creators. That's a different kind of background, though, Gina. They're looking just for criminals, like if you have been in prison, or if you're a thief, or if you're a pedo. They want to make sure you're not a pedophile who's out there looking. Trevor Lee. Hey, Trevor. Heather offered to do one for Tony. I bet he denied that one. Natalie. Well, I mean, they can still request it, though. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, I'm not saying they're bad people. They just have no business in a very emotional situation with vulnerable people. Felons and kids' cases don't mix. I'm not saying they're bad people, but once you commit a felony, I feel like you shouldn't be around kids' cases. Just out of pure, being responsible. And they're creating all the chaos. I agree. I don't know. He blamed his criminal record on a black man, which was really sweet, too. Welcome, Leopard Gecko. If you're just become a member, join our Discord if you would like. True crime and coffee? I don't know. I don't know what anybody's doing out there, to be honest with you. I don't. Well, I don't think we're dealing with DUI felons in this case right now, so that's really a moot point. Right, meow. So let's continue. This is after the 48 hours, okay? So this is the third day, the long-term search, which is where we've been for a while now. When the search for a child becomes long-term, not all parents can or will want to be actively involved in the search. Did you hear that? When the search for a child becomes long-term, not all parents can or will want to be involved in the search. It's okay if you choose not to be involved. But if you want to remain active in the long-term search effort, there are a number of things that you and other family members, friends, or volunteers can do to aid in the process. So do we need to leave Katie alone at this point? What do you think? Let's do a poll. What do you guys think of that? Let's see how you're feeling about Katie at this point. Barbecue, Trevor Lee would like to connect. If you're on TikTok, bing bong. TT. You're right, Terry. But they said to have law enforcement do it probably just to make sure your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. And it's just one less thing for people to worry about when they're in the moment of, searching for their missing child. We're going to get to the grifters here, okay? Oh, I was going to open up a poll. That's right. No, I'm just wondering what you think about. I mean, it says clearly right here, it's normal for them to not, if they don't want to participate, like that's okay. I mean, why do they have to tell us and explain anything to us? Like the grifters here. That's her kid. Why do we need an explanation? I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here because I don't know. I'm just wondering what you think about. So let's do a poll. Do you think I mean, they've been super quiet. There's been no chaos coming from them. Hang on, I'm getting the answers in here. Okay. Okay, so the poll says, do you think that we should lay off the Proudfoots? Absolutely not. Yes, be gracious. Or I think they should all be questioned. Okay, so while you guys do that, what does the do? No, I think they should all be questioned. I ran out of space. And yes, I agree with T Love. Trevor Lee, keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you do. Okay, so here we go. This is after the first 48 hours. Develop a plan and set a schedule with goals for continuing the search. Work with law enforcement to figure out what role you and others can play in the long-term search. Schedule regular visits with your investigator. Now, this is if your child's missing and you're not a suspect. Schedule regular visits with your investigator. Do you think that Seth, Katie, or Chris Proudfoot are scheduling regular visits with the investigator, and do you think they're getting them? Put a 1 in chat if you think that they're even trying to schedule visits with the investigator. Put a 2 in chat if you think they're staying far away. Put a 1 if you think that they're attempting to reach out to investigators to set visits so you can get information and updates, or who thinks that they're really not contacting them. Oh, wow. A lot of 2s. You guys think they're not even calling. They're just, ooh, holy shit. 1 said Seth. Only Seth. Seen a few 1s. Mostly 2s, though. Damn, Brown Eyed's got 4 2s. 1.5, you think Seth wants to. Interesting. Seth, yes, says Judy. Pink says yes. Only speaking when spoken to, probably. That's what I think, too. I mean, especially Proudfoot, when he said that the TBI called him, and I don't know if you guys caught this, because it was on Cluminati's live, and it was long, but it was really informative. I still would like to go over it sometime. I'm just not in the mood to play Chris Proudfoot or any of those interviews right now. It's just it's gotten too ugly, you know? So I kind of want to just talk about how we can help, how we can get educated, to make better choices and to kind of educate my community here and what to look for and what's right and what's wrong, because getting duped by these people is just, it's not cool. And I am so proud of our online community for seeing through this grift that we're seeing take place right now. I'm really proud of you guys because you knew when something didn't look right. You knew that. And you were vocal about it. And I hate when creators fight, because I'm not here to fight with no creator. Like, we're all in the same freaking boat as far as I'm concerned. But, just taking a stand and saying what you think. If we always say, if you see something, say something. Well, that goes for a lot of things and that are morally wrong. And playing on a kid's case and playing games and putting out misinformation and the wrong Amber Alert and just overall having just a demeanor of, I don't care. These things, this can't happen. We can't let this happen. I mean, I don't know how we stop it, but I just think that the more we talk about these things, the more that we'll be able to spot this shit. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Noel. Yes. I am too, Patty Cake. Trevor Lee, thank you for joining. Oh, it's an honor to have you here. Noelle's talking about, no, don't delete her. No, what she's saying is there's a reason they don't want you on the initial searches in case you find the child and they're deceased. They don't want the parent finding that, right? They don't want the parent to find that. Hey, titties. Majestic Peacock, thank you for putting that link in there. That is for internet crimes, guys. She just shared the link. If you feel like you ever see an internet crime happening, you can go to that website and you can make a report. So thank you for sharing that. That can be for a lot of different cyber crimes. Welcome in, Trevor. The water's warm.
It's in the water. What the f?
Hey, Barb, and hey, Mia. That's what I said, but getting info out is different. Barbecue, I agree. It's so traumatizing. Listen, I have a story I want to share. It's quick, but a girl that I went to school with in my hometown in Michigan, her daughter, April Millsap, went for a walk. You may have seen, this on Dateline. I think it was on True Crime Daily. It's been on many shows. Anyways, April Millsap was a 14-year-old girl from Armada, Michigan. She took her dog Penny for a walk on the bike trail there in Armada, population 3,000, if that. And a pedophile named James Van Callis saw April, 33-year-old James Van Callis. And he followed her down to the walking trail, which was an old train track that was turned into a walking path throughout the whole county. And she started walking her dog on the path, and he walked up behind her and he hit on her. He made the moves on her, and she was like, ooh, what the fuck? And she texted her boyfriend and she said, oh my God, I think someone just almost kidnapped me. Well, her boyfriend was in another town where he didn't have signal, and he didn't get that until after. So she blew him off. She started picking up the pace. They had her cell phone data, which showed her, walking faster and picking up the pace because she was trying to get away, And he came up behind her with his motor. He was on a motorcycle, and he hit her in the head with his motorcycle helmet. And he pulled her over into the woods. where he attempted to sexually assault her. And then he put his shoe on her neck and stood on her neck until she couldn't breathe anymore. Now, when the girl that I went to school with, her mother's name is Jennifer. When she got the call, she had already called because April didn't come home from the walk. They found her body in the woods that night. Jennifer wasn't out there looking in the woods. The police were. And you are crazy if you think for 1 second if that mother would have walked upon that body. I went out to that trail with her. I walked into the woods and we put flowers where her daughter died. And I can tell you that was hard enough. She was on the ground just being in that spot. Can you imagine her finding her? They identified the perp by the tread on the bottom of his shoe because it was on her neck. You've got to think about these things. You are not barbecue. Shut up. Oh, yeah, you said Detroit area. That's right. You don't want parents coming around and finding their child. So if Chloe mentioned that to Seth, she's exactly right. She's exactly right. You don't want any parent to have to find that. It's commendable. It's definitely commendable. And it says a lot about the love for the child that they want to be out there. But to attack someone for doing the right thing is insane. Look at all my Michiganders in the house. No. She didn't need to see that. Just like Katie shouldn't. Ugh. Just awful. I mean, I saw her. Just being in that spot, dude. I had chills. Like, we took the dog. So her dog, she was with her dog, right? The dog. Let's talk about dogs. You know, I love dogs. Her dog, Penny. He took off, left her in the woods. It was just like a little stretch of woods in between a neighborhood. There was a stretch of woods, and then there was the dog path. And he left her there. And the dog kept coming out and trying to get people that were coming down the bike trail, barking. These two people were coming by on their rollerblades, of all things. They were rollerblading, and Penny came running out, and they were like, this dog like wouldn't stop. It kept running in the woods, coming back out, running in the woods, coming back out. So they followed him. Well, the husband did. The husband did. And he found her, and he called 911. And when I went back out in those woods with Jennifer, we had the dog. And the dog was whimpering. It was awful. What's up, grannies? Especially in the water. I mean, you don't want to see your child pulled out of the water. I mean, look at Kylie Rodney. When she was pulled out of the water, her grandfather left. So I didn't get into true crime because of that. I really didn't. I wasn't doing podcasts then at all. I got into true crime 4 years after that. I just helped because it was in my, I lived in Romeo, and then Armada is right next door, and they're really small towns. And like, I know people from Armada and they know people from Romeo. So, you know, it's really close knit community. I agree. Thrifts. I hear you. I mean, not being home in case he comes home is a red flag, right? Brown eyed, thank you. I want to send me a picture of you and your merch. I think that Chris has thanked the public for searching. I know, Lori, it's sad. But this is what these people go through. And I saw it firsthand, and I went through the whole freaking trial. I went to every day of that trial in his prelim. Aw, Melissa, 18. Yeah, it's bad enough finding him of natural causes, right? Thank you, Siggy. Yeah, to not be home. Like, what if he comes home? Oh, Addie, I'm so sorry. Terry Lynn's yeah, she is. She's a superstar out there. Baby girl, I know. I get it. I'm just trying to give you guys a different perspective, that's all. Everybody's different. I mean, some people would be like, there's nothing keeping me away. I mean, wild horses couldn't keep me away. And that's cool. But everybody's different. And I just think that we have to keep that in mind when it comes to these kind of situations. All right. The next part, this is going to get interesting now because we're going to get into psychics. We're going to get into PIs and what the recommendations are with that. Look at all those honeypots. Jenny Wharton, Mina, Deb, Lori. Are you guys all from, if you're here from Barbecue Lady, give me some honeypots. Mick, I told my husband if my son goes missing, I'll stay home while he's out there. And if it's his kid, I'll go out there while he stays home. Makes sense. Oh, man. Granny, holy shit. Whew. I can't even imagine. Right. I mean, just seeing it is bad enough, let alone it being your own. Richard, my best friend is missing. I have looked everywhere. Her parents never, and it gets overwhelming because it's a large world. You feel like it's a needle in a haystack. I hear Terry Lynn say that all the time. Yeah, you guys share Barbecue's link on TikTok. I don't know what TikTok links are, though. She brought a lot of people. We have a lot of honeypots. Raider Nation. Is that what that is? Raider Nation? You're a honeypot, too? Ah, I'm so sticky today from all the honey. That's awesome, Melissa. Angie and Bama. Is it Bama or Bama? I'm a Yankee at heart. Hey, Deb. BBQ. BBQ. Thank you. And Nikki, if we all stand for Sebastian, the trash will eventually take itself out. Come home, Sebastian. You have lots of friends now. Hey, Casey. Hey, Lucia. I can't believe all the freaking honeypots in here. Barbecue. I'm gonna get you. That's why police and don't want parents or relatives looking for a missing person. Yeah. I think she has. Does she have YouTube or no? No, I don't think she does. Oh, I was going to ask about that. Yeah, I can't play News Nation, but is there an article? Because they sued me, so I can't play them because they're petty. An interesting choice of words from E. Vargas on News Nation recently. She asked, am I going to get copyrighted for reading what she said? Is Elizabeth Vargas's fucking commentary copyrighted too, News Nation? She asked about the CPS report Seth received and said something like, quote, the CPS report's about what your ex-wife did? Ooh. Was that last night? I'll have to watch that. I can't play it, though, unfortunately. 'Cause they petty.
Not right now, man.
Her YouTube is at Barbecue Lady from TikTok. There you go. I love you too, Mama too. Trude Hands of Justice. I don't even know what you're fucking talking about. Don't bring people's personal biz in here, okay? Don't bring people's personal business in here. I don't do drama. You're going to get deleted and you're going to be blocked. I don't give a fuck who you are or where you come from. I don't do drama in my chat room. He played it? Well, he can. I get sued. I can't play it. I got to keep this the same. I don't change. I keep the shit the same. No drama. Don't be fighting in here. I don't do it. Do you think that, you know what I would like to ask Katie? Let's get back to the case at hand. I would like to ask Katie if, when they left the house, did they leave a note for Sebastian? Did they leave a note? I know we're sweet with the honeypots. Did she leave a note like, hey, Sebastian, if you come home, call me, Mom. Here's the phone. Just curious. All right. So, yeah, the TikTok is thank you, Shell, for putting her TikTok in there. TikTok and then her YouTube there. Keep your drama to your mama.
Diarrhea of the mouth.
Tennessee, thank you for being here. Thank you for your super stickers. She said, thank you for keeping Sebastian's name out there. All right. Let's keep going so we can get those phone lines open. Okay, so ask to see the case file periodically. You may recognize something meaningful that was overlooked or remember something significant that law enforcement was not aware of. Be aware there may be pieces of information that law enforcement cannot or does not want to release to you because it may jeopardize or hinder the investigation. This is okay. Some states do not allow the release of police reports until after a case is solved. Ask your search coordinator what information can be legally released to you or what you are allowed to see. It says keep a journal. Consider offering a reward for the safe return of your child. And then they have chapters. This is a long thing. I'm just giving you the gist of it. Find out what Crime Stoppers can do to help with the search. Crime Stoppers answers 24/7. And then it says down here, remember that whole thing? We're at the $3,000 for Sebastian's reward. I still have never gotten a clear answer on what happened with that. I hear you, Morning Rays. Chris, if you come home, oh my God, you're terrible. What's up, SW? It sounded like her to me, Suze. I would too, Cuts Sharp. I'd be sitting in the freaking lobby of the police station waiting for any word. I don't know what I would do. Hey, Ann. Yay, Mount Clemens. Yep. I know the Clem. It was pledged, not given. So they still don't have the pledges? Yeah, fill us in, Terry Lynn. So it was pledges, but why haven't they set? That's still not an excuse for not setting up a reward. You don't understand why? Reno, maybe they have evidence. Tammy, let's see what Tammy says. Thank you for your super chat. When you screen or do background checks on volunteers, protect the other volunteers also. Exactly. Right. Good thinking. You don't know who you are in dangerous situations with. Do you want to be searching with someone who's got a belt in their waistband and they're unfucking hinged? Huh? I don't think so. I don't think you do. And holding on to evidence, I don't know about carrying that shit around in his car. I don't fucking get it. Baba, maybe because they have evidence that a reward wouldn't bring him home. Pledge not donated. Thank you, Diane. Thanks, Reno. No, there's no reward. Are we confirming there's no reward right now for Sebastian? I think they definitely have evidence. I think this is definitely a criminal investigation, and I think they have evidence. Thank you, Cindy. All right, I want to get through this. Okay, I'm going to stop. Okay, here we go. Let's skip through here. Inquire about programs. Oh, it says right here about a reward. It says, talk with your law enforcement agency and prosecutor's office to see if they know of programs that can be used to report tips or offer rewards. Well, guess what? The DA is not. Do you think that Seth is going to the DA going, hey, dude, can you help me with a reward? Because that's who should be helping him. Your law enforcement agency and your prosecutor. That would be the DA. The DA. But guess what? The DA is involved because this is criminal. I would be willing to bet it. DAs don't become involved in runaways. Okay? Kids that run away, you don't need a district attorney for that. You don't. And if they're not offering a reward, there's a reason. Just saying. It's not because they don't care about finding Sebastian. I don't know why an attorney would be handling that. That's weird. It sounds to me like this shit's supposed to go all through LE for the most part. That's what I think too, Deborah. I think they got a grand jury on this shiz. And that's why the DA ain't talking. They don't exactly barbecue. They don't have to tell anyone anything, and they won't tell anyone anything. They could be telling us 100% lies right now. No, there's no reward, Jody. Let's not put false info out there. There ain't no reward. You find them, there's no reward. So if you're looking for that, it doesn't exist. The DA doesn't get involved when they think that a kid ran away. They also don't get involved. What's up, Sarah? They also don't get involved. They don't get involved with the runaway, but they also, it tells you they had to have probable cause to search that landfill. They don't just get to walk in and search places. They don't just get to walk into your business. Okay, Cindy, I gotcha. Thanks. Thanks for your super sticker. They don't just walk in and say, hey, we got this missing kid and their garbage comes here. So we're just going to search. Nope. They have to present evidence and they have to put it out there and they have to say, this is the reason that we need to search the landfill in connection to the Sebastian Rogers case. I thought so too. That was a weekend, Joe. And now we've heard that the DA was in the room when they saw the video. The DA had no comment yesterday. Why would they even be asking the DA? They had to have probable cause. Granny to 13, thank you so much for your generous super sticker. Thank you so much. That was so nice. Jody, what's your text or email so I can send you the reward info? It's in the description of the video. CP said it's a good thing Sebastian didn't leave any evidence. Yeah. Well, I don't think that, I don't think Chris Proudfoot can, or whoever, can outsmart all of these agents. I mean, it's kind of naive to think that, you know, Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot could outsmart everybody, right? They're going to outsmart all the law enforcement agencies involved. I think they're building a case as well. Sure. If they find something, they don't have to tell us. They don't have to say, oh, okay, we searched the landfill today, guys, and we found a candy wrapper. We found Sebastian's, earbuds. I mean, no. Zip thy lip. How do you conduct an investigation when you're like this? You can't. Even if she is in the military, why does that matter? Until we know what happened, I think we need to reserve our bashing. We need to cool out. Contact NCMC. We went over that. Community awareness. Here, keep community awareness of your plight at a high level. If your child has been missing for several years, ask NCMEC to develop an age-progressed picture. Then place this picture on buttons, posters, etc. Keep media interested and involved, and make a list of political figures that you can reach out to. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Private detectives. The role of private detectives and psychics in the long-term search. Lori Chappell, thank you so much. Silence from LE speaks volumes. How do we know they didn't, Glenda? We don't know, because all we've gotten is the Proudfoot's words. You think the Proudfoots are going to say, oh yeah, they sprayed this bitch with luminol. We're freaking out. Why not, Mary? I think she's kind of doing her own thing, if you want my honest opinion. Thank you, Majestic, for that information. Yeah, they're not going to tell anybody anything. That's not how you solve crimes, by telling everybody. You got to keep that shit on the down low. So private detectives, if the immediate search is not successful, you may be tempted to try almost anything. Some parents turn to private detectives to aid in the search. Consider hiring a private detective or investigator only if you are convinced that he or she can do something better or different than what is being done by law enforcement. Be certain that you are not simply wasting money that can be spent more productively in another way. If you decide to use a private detective, the following tips can help. Always ask and check references to find out if the investigator is legitimate. Be wary of people who say they can bring your child back immediately for a specific sum of money. If you run into this situation, report it to law enforcement. Make sure you are paying a reasonable rate. Insist that the investigator itemize expenses. Make sure the detective has experience working with law enforcement. Law enforcement must be notified immediately of any leads you receive from a private investigator. This is important because, from what I understood, Tony, Mr. TikTok Tony, wanted all of the leads filtered through him, if I understand that correctly.
Said shut the fuck up.
No, the lack of reward here is not a huge problem. Huge rewards don't bring kids home. They don't. They bring out the grifts. Huge rewards are a nightmare. You get $100,000 reward in a case, you're getting tons of false leads. Big rewards are not the way to go. Make sure the detective has experience working with law enforcement. Law enforcement must be immediately notified of any leads. They should go directly to law enforcement. Inform your assigned law enforcement investigator about your decision to hire a private investigator. In most cases, this individual will need to talk to law enforcement before becoming involved in the case. You know, I've just seen them at $100,000, Mia, and it's like, dude, you get that kind of money out there, you get all the grifts coming out of the woodwork. Psychics. Keep an open mind and a closed pocketbook when considering the use of a psychic. Most parents are desperate to try anything, but they need to understand that there are very few true psychics. Many are fraudulent or, at best, misguided individuals who want to help so much that they have self-induced visions. Hearing their sometimes negative dreams and visions can cause undue stress, a loss of hope, or an unfounded sense of hope. If you are considering turning to a psychic, remember the following tips. Ask someone close to the family to record any psychic leads because that information is usually distressing. So these psychics that want to get on the phone with these parents, that's a lot. Because remember, they're not necessarily giving you a happy ending. Give all such leads to law enforcement. If any lead is highly specific, such as a particular address, insist that law enforcement check it out. Follow up with law enforcement to find out the value of the lead. Never allow a psychic to go into your child's room unattended or take items without making arrangements for their return. Regardless of whether some psychics have true visions, any purportedly psychic dream may be an actual observation by someone who is afraid to get involved. That is why even psychic leads need to be checked out whenever possible. So they're not discrediting psychics, but telling you what to look out for. Don't call Dion, right? So this is our last part. I'm going to give you guys the link to this. There's a bunch of chapters. It's really, really interesting. And if I get a chance to look at it further, maybe we can go over some more of the chapters, but I want to open up the lines in a few minutes and take your calls. So, overzealous individuals. Hold on. This is the important part. This is what we need to talk about. This is what I think is going on right meow. Overzealous individuals. Be prepared to encounter a few people who are fanatical or obsessive in their behavior or in their desire to help. Keep in mind that some people may try to use your loss to gain attention for themselves. Let me read that again. Keep in mind that some people may try to use your loss to gain attention for themselves. Protect yourself from people who might be delusional or who may prey on victims through scams or by offering false hopes and expectations. The key is to keep your focus and exercise caution. Let me read that again. Keep in mind that some people may try to use your loss to gain attention for themselves. I read that and I was like, wow. The key is to keep your focus and exercise caution. So we have the key points in here about the search, and then the other pages are more detailed, like secure the room, don't touch anything, don't let anyone sleep in your kid's bed, be prepared to give investigators all the facts, describe in detail the clothing your child was seen wearing, make a list of personal identification marks, gather personal items, think about your child's behavior and routine. Be prepared to discuss where your child played or hung out and what was the usual route taken to and from school and what other paths of travel might have been taken. Be specific about what your child did for recreation, including playing outdoors, surfing the internet, and other activities. Well, we were lied to in the beginning about Sebastian surfing the internet. Were they honest with law enforcement in the beginning, or did they just lie to us? Because why would they, lie to us and tell the cops the truth? I thought so too, Julia. I guess When you're a suspect, you don't get those amenities. Melissa, hello, Jay. Hello, Melissa. That is so true on the psychics because it does make it difficult for people who are clairvoyant mediums and try to earn their trust when there's so many who fraud it. Love your channel. Thank you. Can you guys slow down chat a little bit, mods? Oh, Barbecue Lady made some t-shirts out of TikTok Tony's sayings. Seth said he snuck Sebastian a phone, so maybe the Proudfoots didn't know. Yeah, I saw you say that the other day, Granny, and I'm like, which interview did Seth say that in? Yeah, Chrissy, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too, Terry Lynn. What interview did that come from about the phone? And where did he say that, remember he said that he had Sebastian get the number of a waitress there at the Waffle House or something? There is a lot of misinformation. I just want to make sure that we have it right. I want to know, because there's so many interviews. There's no way that we've all possibly seen everything that's been said. I feel like I did too. It's just there's been so many interviews, it's confusing. If someone can figure out, Granny might know. I mean, everybody was coming at her like, Pascal didn't say he was stepping down, and look, she proved it this morning. It was like, boom. Right?
Bing bang.
We need a shirt that says get in the box. Get in the box or I'm going to banana you. Was it the short interview with his mom at the I don't know. Let me know if you guys figured it out. But it says, you know, being honest. So were they honest? Did Seth tell the police in the very beginning that Sebastian didn't play video games? Because I'm pretty sure the police knew when they walked into this house that he had PlayStation and stuff. So I'm just wondering, did Seth tell him the truth? Or did they lie and did, like, you know, because Chris Proudfoot was like, no, his shit's locked down. He's got, right. Why lie? Why does anybody lie? Quit lying. But anyways, if they lied about it and said he wasn't on the internet and then they got the devices and saw that he was, I'm just not sure. Oh, Melissa, I got blocked from the official Sebastian Rogers Army Facebook group. So. Tony's, yeah, he's the cause of all the chaos. So anyways, I thought that was important. Like, what did they tell them? Because they were on the internet saying the opposite. Seth started out saying, oh, he doesn't play games. And this is what bothers me. And y'all can defend him till you're blue in the face. But when your kid's missing, you don't fucking lie about his activities. Why would you lie about his activities? If my kid at 15 went missing, why would I lie about whether he played online unless there was something going on? Helen, I just have it on my files. I don't have it on my soundboard yet. I didn't say anything. I said I heard that. I said, does anybody have an interview, Skinny? Chill out. No one should be blocked from a Find Any Kid Facebook page. I don't know. why I got blocked. Because they don't like me, I guess. They don't like that I have an opinion that goes against them. This isn't about them. Is it? It's not about them. This isn't about Seth. But he's managed to make himself in the fucking spotlight. This isn't about him. Me. This is my show. No, it's not a show. This is a child that's most likely not going to come home okay. We all want him to. Fuck's sake, man. And you lie? You lie about like what your kid's activities are when he's missing? That's already impeding on the investigation. That's already impeding. Don't fucking lie. You tell the honest to God truth down to the nitty gritty. You know? Come on, sister. Get in the box, sister, before I banana you. Try to remember any changes in your child's routine or any new experiences. Look at calendars to see if there's any clues about the whereabouts or the identity of the abductor. I mean, is Seth interested in this information if he thinks that his son ran away? Is he interested in this? Yeah, blocked from a fucking missing kids Facebook page or group. I want Sebastian phone, says Plato Lips. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're blocking people that have a platform to talk about Sebastian from getting updates that you say are the official ones. Tony doesn't know anything. Law enforcement won't talk to him. They don't want to talk to him. He's frustrated. He ain't getting nowhere, and he wasn't able to work his way in with the law enforcement in Tennessee like he was in Corpus Christi. I'm just going to say it. It didn't work out. Okay, let's keep going. Don't talk about Pascal. We're done with that. Go watch his shit. You have to become, oh, that's right. You have to become a member to find out what happened with him. Because he put it on members only. He explained to his audience and then shut out 90% of his audience and left it to just members only. Terry says he didn't give Sebastian a burner phone. So that's what we're going with until we find out different. No one cares if he stepped down. Stop discussing him. We were done with that. Anyways, routines. Did your child get a new coach? Join a soccer team? Did your child start hanging out or playing in a different area? Did your child keep a diary? Has anyone ever asked these questions? I'm sure law enforcement did. Write down as many phone numbers as you can. Offer information for your prior in-laws and relatives. Include anyone on your list that you feel might have something against you or your family. Make a list of everyone who routinely comes to your home. Postal workers, meter readers, garbage collectors, repair persons, salespeople, and so forth. Make a list of new, different, or unusual people and circumstances in and around your home or school within the past year. Think about you or any of your neighbors. Have they had any home remodeling or home repairs done in the last year? Were any houses listed for sale in the past year? Have there been any road construction or building in the area? Have any carnivals passed through the area? I mean, are these questions being asked to them? Because if they're not, they don't think this kid was abducted or ran away. Right? And then it says to get, copies of medical and dental records. So let's open the phone lines. Without further ado, hold on. I'll give you guys an opportunity to call in. I just think that, your partnership with law enforcement, we're going to have to go through more of this. Most people do not believe they will be victims of crimes or that their children will be victimized. But if a young member of your family becomes victim, you will likely wonder what law enforcement expects of you and what you can expect of law enforcement. So this is very detailed. Be prepared for hard, repetitious questions from investigators. Be honest. Oh, this is good. We got to go over these really quick. Just the bullet points. Make sure law enforcement understands that your child is in danger and that his or her absence is likely to be involuntary. If your child is 10 or older, it will not be hard to show that your child is in danger. However, if your child is older than 10, It is important to let law enforcement know that your child's absence is not normal and that you would be surprised if your child had disappeared voluntarily. Check to see if any money, clothing other than what your child was wearing, or other personal items are missing. Let law enforcement know how your child is doing in school and if your child has quarreled recently with you or a friend. Be honest, complete, and forthcoming in your statements. Fully disclose all recent activities and conversations with your child. What may seem insignificant to you may be important to an investigator. Be prepared for hard, repetitious questions. Don't feel guilty about relaying suspicions about someone you know. It is not often that a stranger takes the child. You may not want to believe that it is someone you know, but keep an open mind and consider all the possibilities. Above all else, trust your feelings, instincts, and gut reactions, and share them with law enforcement so they can be checked out. Do everything possible to get you and your family removed from the suspect list. Oh, yes, do everything possible. So if Seth was at work and he was on camera and it was that simple, why isn't he cleared? Why isn't he cleared? I mean, this is right here. They want to get you off that fucking suspect list as soon as possible. They don't want you on that suspect list. They want to clear the parents so that they can find the kid. As painful as it may be, accept the fact that a large number of children are harmed by members of their own family. And therefore, you and your family will be considered suspects until you are cleared. To help law enforcement move on to other suspects, volunteer early to take a polygraph test. Insist that both parents be tested at the same time by different interviewers, or one after another. This will help to deflect media speculation that one of you was involved in the disappearance. They don't want all of this crap buzzing around the parents. If they could clear the parents, they would. I mean, it's not more than common sense. If they could clear the parents, they would. If Seth was cleared, why would they put him through this? Polys are really interrogation tactics. They really don't prove if someone's innocent or guilty. They use those to ask certain questions and see if you're lying to them. And they can tell you you passed. They can tell you you passed with flying fucking colors too. And that's what's so wonderful about law enforcement investigations, and what's so intriguing is that they don't have to tell you the truth if you're a suspect. They can lie and lie and lie until they have enough evidence to put you in the clinker. And I think that there's people that should be worried in this case right now. Because the DA don't get involved for nothing. The DA presses criminal charges, period. Somebody's on the road to getting in trouble. I'm just saying. The cops lie in investigations. It's not a new tactic. It's always been a tactic. Blue Bella, how can you even say he didn't realize it? He said he let the kids stay up all night playing games. How did he not realize that he was playing PlayStation when he had one in his room? Who knows what time he went to work? All we have is his word. We don't know. We didn't have Ellie come out and say, you know what? The father's cleared. We're good. I'm not done yet. Hang on. Give me just hear me out. Hear me out. Yes, innocent parents want to be cleared right away. Yes. And you heard Chris, we keep asking them to clear us and they won't. You know why they won't? Because you're not cleared. Thank you, Pine Needle. They're not cleared. Their alibi has not been proven. I don't know who's responsible. I am not sure who's responsible. If he was up all night playing games, God only knows who he came in contact with. Why do you think the police and the FBI still have Sebastian's electronics? Because there's nothing on him? If there was nothing on him, they would have given him back. It's been 3 months. They're actively pursuing a criminal investigation. It really just seems like it's common sense at this point. And it seems like Tony's just grifting his way until that day comes. So anyways, insist that everyone close to your child be interviewed. Everyone. Although polygraph testing is voluntary, refusal can cause law enforcement to spend time trying to eliminate an individual from the suspect list through other means, and as a result, take valuable time away from finding the real suspect. I mean, there's just a reason that the cops aren't saying, keep a lookout for this kid anymore. No, they did not return Sebastian's electronics. We have to get the facts straight. He said he got his PlayStation back. They still have Sebastian's shit, and he's upset about it. He looks at that PlayStation as like a term of endearment to his kid. My son, my middle son, was an avid gamer at 15 years old. And let me tell you, if he went missing, I wouldn't give a fuck if they had his PlayStation for 3 months. Because when he comes back, if they find him, he ain't going to be playing fucking games anyway. So why is he worried about those devices so much? That isn't your son. Those aren't a term of it. It's not an intimate memory. It's a fucking game console. Go to Walmart and buy another one. It doesn't make sense. Why, Terry Lynn? It doesn't make sense. Your PlayStation is not something that's endearment. I mean, I would be smelling his sheets, his shirts. I'd be going in his closet. Those are intimate items. A game console is not intimate. It's a piece of plastic. Mm-mm. If you know why though? Because it really defies logic. And I'm just talking out loud. Well, tell it why. I mean, if there's simple reason. It just seems like a weird thing to be upset about. I'd be like, keep my kids' shit as long as you need to, if it's going to lead you to them. But they're not talking to him. There's a reason they're not talking to him. I don't know. That's weird. I have 2 boys, and I would never think of their PlayStation as being something endear to them when they're missing. It's weird. Thank you, BDAC. I just think that maybe there was some shit going on there that he's trying to keep under wraps, and I don't like it. When your child's missing, you got to be an open book, man. You got to be an open slate. Okay, 2 more bullet points. Leave the interviewing of your other children to law enforcement. Be prepared for constant law enforcement presence in your home. Be prepared for constant law enforcement presence. Talk regularly with your primary law enforcement contact. They're not doing that with them. Pick a time of day for your contact to call you with information. They're not getting that. No, I didn't yet. Make sure investigators know that you expect to hear about significant developments in the case from them and not the media. The flip side of this, right here. You want investigators to talk to you about your missing kid? This is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. Make sure investigators know that you expect to hear significant developments from them, not the media. The flip side of this is that you must honor. This is important. You must honor law enforcement's request not to disclose some pieces of information to the media. Understand, however, that law enforcement may not be able to tell you everything about the case because full disclosure might jeopardize the investigation. I can see not moving his room. I wouldn't move my kid's room. I mean, there's people that kids have been missing for 50 years and the mom never fucking changed the room. I wouldn't either. But I wouldn't give a damn about his PlayStation console. I'm just saying. He's very worked up about that. That just seems a little off to me. More mad about that than mad about, Chris Proudfoot hitting his kid. Just saying. Yeah, it's not memorabilia. Maybe their phone. I would want their phone if there was pictures of them on it. That would be the only thing that I would want for the pictures. But I wouldn't care if his game console was there because he wouldn't be playing that shit when he came back anyhow. If that's what means something, though, that really tells me that Sebastian really had a horrible life. And that's really sad to me. It really is sad to me. Satisfy yourself that law enforcement is handling your child's case properly. All the agencies involved in the investigation should be cooperating with one another in pursuit of one goal: finding your missing child and getting the predator off the street. So there's a lot more to this, but let's open it up. What's up, Delaney? Good to see you. Now you guys can call in. I'm so sorry. It was more than I bargained for, but I really thought that was interesting. So call up. Let me know what you think. The phone lines are open. 727-555-6001. Let me know what you think. Am I being too hard on expectations? But this is a layout. I mean, of what is to be expected. Be prepared for hard questions, as difficult as it may be. Try not to respond in a hostile manner that may be personal or offensive. The fact is, investigators must ask difficult and sensitive questions if they are to do their jobs effectively. But if they're not disclosing recent activities, how can they investigate? She didn't even go check on him after she supposedly heard a thud. I don't even know if there was a thud. I don't know. Well, we went over the. Well, I don't think he gets that mad about it because he was doing the same thing according to court documents. I mean, I'm just being fair here. I don't know these people. I have 011. I'm not going to fight about who these people are because I'm not going to ever talk to any of these people. I can promise you, I will never talk to either one of these parents, and I'm not going to debate because they're not cleared and officially, and that's where I stand. I stand with the facts of where we are in the case. I appreciate, insight and things like that, but I've got to keep my show factual with what we know and what we've seen that's official. Hello, you are live on air with Jay.
Hi, this is Dee. I did leave you a message, but I wanted to call and hi. I wanted to talk to you about the ruckus video.
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay. Well, I wasn't totally in. I mean, I thought I was seeing what you were seeing, but then I wasn't really sure until I watched Bullhorn Betty. And when you watch her videos, you will see that when she has, like, I think the light is behind her, that when she moves, it's kind of like the figure, the outside of her frame moves a little bit. It's like, it looks like it's the same kind of, I can't describe it, but it's the same kind of with the ruckus video, like it would be black and then there would be like a little bit of purple on the edge, or you would see it kind of almost like move a little bit, like a cloud or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the wrong word, but when you look at her videos, mostly any of them where she does a little bit of movement, it looks just like that, exactly. And I looked at that and I went, wow, that looks exactly like the outline of a figure of like the ruckus video, which made me convinced that the ruckus video actually were people, just seeing the way that her form was distorted by the light.
Yeah.
So I thought I would talk about it.
Yeah, I'll have to take another look at it.
Yeah, and I really, really think that that ruckus video is even more important now. I mean, we really, and what I find interesting is not a lot of the channels have been talking about it. And I just think to me is the piece of evidence.
Yeah, it sounded like it from Nick Barris that it, is part of the case file. And I mean, some people think that Nick Barris isn't reporting correct information, but I disagree with that when it comes to that him reporting on this case. But I agree with you. I mean, I don't know exactly what it is, but I do see something. I see movement. I can't say exactly what it is, but.
And that's why looking at her, when you look at her videos and you see it's like it's distorted, like her figure, the outline of her figure is distorted when she moves. Same way as that. And I looked at it and went, wow, that looks just like that. And that made me convinced that it does have a lot of relevance to the case.
Yeah.
And I like Nick. I think he's a upfront guy. I mean, I think he's really good.
Same.
I like what he has to say. I like what you have to say because you're always very descriptive with everything, and you just go through things thoroughly, and you are really upfront about things, and I appreciate that. And you give us the facts. There aren't too many channels that do that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try, and sometimes I'm wrong, but if I'm wrong, I'll always correct it if I can. You know what I mean? But I just think that we get ahead of ourselves, and that's what I see going on here. Is everybody's just ahead of themselves and emotional, and it's like I don't want to talk to anybody in this case. I don't. I think it's way too messy as it is. Yeah,
I agree. It's become. I have pulled back from that as well as once, not to talk poorly about Tony, but once he came on, it seems like the dynamics changed. It just wasn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not really looking at that aspect of it in the same way since he's on board. I'm not feeling a good dynamic from that. And I think we should stick to facts and taking theories and working on what we see and discussing what we see, as opposed to and getting away from all the emotions about somebody said this or said that, or it's the case. Sebastian is not about discussions between Tony and Seth or some other who cares
messages and leaked emails and shit. Yeah.
I mean, it's a completely red herring. Just should be thrown out. We should concentrate on whatever we have, and inspecting those theories and just trying to see what we can. I mean, we don't know, but we can come up with some pretty good theories and kind of just adjust them as need be. I mean, we don't know the facts, but I'm hoping and praying that we find Sebastian soon. I've been watching this, for a long time, really. I live out in Washington State, so I'm not even really close.
It's way early there. You're like almost at dinner time. We're almost at bedtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I really appreciate you. I think that, you sound very level-headed and, just bringing us down a notch and going back to what really matters and what brought us here in the first place is that this 15-year-old boy went poof into thin air.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely, completely impossible and illogical.
Yep.
0 sense. Yep. So whoever says, when they say, somebody might say, oh, he walked out the door. Well, where are the footprints?
Right.
Okay. Where it is, it's got to be some logic. Get the emotion out of it and put some logic back in it.
Yep. And if he walked away on his own free will, they would have had a scent of him walking away. Or,
That's true.
getting to a car or something,
Yeah, there would be a scent. There would be, of course, he still could have got, but, supposedly when he came back in that one night, he went in through the garage because he didn't go in through the front door, and I forget which night that was. So it leads me to believe that he's not somebody who's going to be going to the front door and pressing in the buttons or whatever to get in. He's going to go in the way that he's used to going in, which is through the garage.
Yep.
Anyway. Well,
thank you
you
so much. No, I'm sorry. I just was reading a text I just got. I'm sorry. I was listening to you, honey.
No, don't apologize. Please.
No, you are spot on. I like your idea about moving forward that way, and I think that's how we should. And we're gonna try to keep it real and just just this book thing that I found, this guide, it just really shed a lot of light on why isn't this happening? Why aren't they getting communicated with? There's always a reason. And it may be for Seth that he just plain is too emotional and talks way too much. It could be that simple. That they just can't tell him anything because he'll blow it with his mouth.
It's like the Kohlberger case with the dad. Same thing.
Yes. Yep. So they can't, I'm sure they'd love to tell him, but if he's, blasting people on the internet off the cuff like that, it's too risky. It's too risky.
Exactly. Yeah, I understand where he's, oh my gosh, I understand where he's coming from completely and totally. I'm not obviously had that experience, thank God, but I just feel so bad for him and that he's in where he's at. And I think that the reason that Tony is there is because he doesn't want the case to go cold, and Tony's has gotten him on News Nation or whatever, and with these theories that he's throwing out that have no substance. Maybe all of that is just simply to get people to talk about it and just say, well, that's not true, or whatever, just so that it can not become a cold case. Maybe that's the purpose of the whole thing. We don't see that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah, I don't agree on bringing the Nina in. However,
yeah,
no.
You think that was something that shouldn't have been brought in? Just too much, or?
Well, yeah, because it's what she did, that everybody is aware of what she did. No one would want to bring someone on looking, searching. She's had all the back surgeries, if all that stuff is true. 2, she's fired a gun into an apartment building. That doesn't sound too kosher.
Oh
So for those reasons, I would never have somebody who could be that volatile looking.
Yep.
Because she might something out in the woods and think it's something and fire the gun or whatever.
Dude.
So I think it's a mistake.
Total liability that does not need to be involved with a kid's case at all.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that Seth sees that and just goes, you know what? I just don't think this is going to be a good thing. Hopefully he'll see that.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for calling in. I really appreciate you. I'm going to give some more people because I kind of got a late start to the calls, but I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Enjoy Washington State.
Oh yeah.
It's getting nice out there. I bet it's beautiful.
Finally it's getting nice out here, but it's not hot yet. I'm pretty close to the border of Canada, so it's so cool.
Yeah, nice. Well,
it's cold here, but it's nice. I'm sure. Now you're in Florida, right?
Yes. I'm from Michigan, but I'm currently in Florida. Yep. It's hot as hell.
I have a friend who lives who has a house in Clearwater.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't live there all.
She
lives in Nevada part-time.
Nice.
Part-time.
Snowbird.
Yeah.
Or not a snowbird. I guess a desert bird. She leaves the desert and comes to the humidity.
That's right. Yeah, but I love Clearwater in that area over there.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
pretty.
the Gulf. It's just beautiful, and getting in the nice warm water is fantastic.
Mhm.
So,
It's great. It's great.
no, I will let you go.
Okay.
And thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking my call. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. And,
Anytime.
all right.
Okay.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great caller. Thank you so much. Level-headedness. We love it. Yeah, Sunbird. 727-755-6001. Give me a call. Let me know what you think. Let's see. Let me come back to your comments. 423, I missed your call. In my opinion, the Texas parole officer will not allow her to leave the state to go search for a missing child. She's on parole, and for shooting at someone plus disabled gets a check. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the hell you get away with that. I'd be flung.
From
You are live on air with Jay. Who am I talking to?
Doug.
Hey, Doug. How are you? It's Doug, guys.
Uh-oh.
We got a big applause going for Doug. What's up, Doug?
Yeah.
What's on your mind tonight?
I got a theory about this. I've sat and thought about it.
Okay. Give me your theory.
You read that thing the other day about where Seth had beat on the boy. She took that out.
Oh, yeah. The
Well,
court doc.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Seth beating on him. Proudfoot beating on him. Mama beating on him. He got tired and hauled ass himself.
You think he ran away then?
Nobody loves me. I'm gone. And they said the light flickered 3 times or a few times. That's something a kid would do to get somebody's attention and come and get them. The thug she heard was him slamming the door, going out the front door. And somebody's got that little boy and took him away from that beating.
Who do you think took him away?
Whoever he told that he's been beat. And think about it, he was fixed to go to Seth. He didn't want to go there because he done been whooped by him before. Been whooped by the other one by the belt. I mean, the boy might have just got a friend and told a friend at school. He told his parents. His parents felt sorry for him. They went and got the little fella.
So you think they wouldn't come forward, though? Like they just take him and not...
Nope, because he's been abused. It might be SA. You never know.
Well,
and he just got mad at me.
I'm not denying that. And I think it's possible that he definitely would have wanted to run away. I mean, hell, I would have wanted to run away as well. But
yeah, everybody beating on me. I'd want to go.
It's just been so long. And like, if he, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he needs meds. He has a recent diagnosis, so I don't know. I don't think he's as autistic as they want us to believe.
He's around a whole bunch of rich people. And, you could tell a kid at school, one of your friends, he might have met somebody online.
Well, he did tell somebody at school because Seth said that he told him, son, you don't have that kind of conversation like your parents don't tell you to have conversations at the dinner table. You don't have that conversation with your classmate. You talk to your therapist. And I thought to myself, when I was thinking about this yesterday, Doug, don't you have to have a therapist to be able to have one accessible to talk to?
Yeah.
Is there anything we've ever heard that Sebastian was currently in therapy?
Nope.
Then why the fuck would his dad tell him to talk to his therapist?
I just got a feeling all around that boy's been done wrong, and I still think he might have just walked out the front door.
I mean,
and you guys are people of sympathy, and then he might have met somebody who got some money. And they got relatives that will put him up.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
And they can keep him until he's 18 and turn him loose. There ain't nothing they can say.
Jesus. That's really creepy in a way.
Because, I mean, if I got beat on all the time, I guess I'd want to haul ass too.
I know, but you'd have to find someone who's willing to hide him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's a lot of South Party people. And if a little kid's been beat, there's people that'll help out.
Seth also said that, hang on, I got to answer chat. Seth also said that he didn't play video games. So if he says he's in therapy, I don't believe it. I don't think they were caring for Sebastian enough to take him to therapy. I just don't. He was left alone. He never went outside. He was made fun of. I just don't think that they were going out of their way to get him any kind of thing that was positive for him. I don't believe it.
They took the video game from Seth's house. The law enforcement did.
Right.
And he was complaining he wanted his video game back. When Sebastian come back, he could play it. Okay. Dude, you just got $25,000 plus on GoFundMe. Hell, go buy him a new one. Why do you need the one the law enforcement's got? Unless it contains something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they won't give it back.
Mm-hmm. That's why they still have it 3 months later. I mean, there's no other reason for it. They found something on his electronics.
And Seth's damn afraid that it could incriminate him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he wants that one back. If I had $25,000, I'd just go buy my son a new one.
Right. I mean, that one's outdated anyways. It's a 3. Now they have 5s. It doesn't even make sense.
Right.
When things don't make sense, there's a reason.
But why would you want that back so bad?
Mm-hmm.
There's some reason. But if that little boy left the house himself, there's a possibility. And that's why he was flickering the lights to tell him, okay, I'm ready to go. Mama's asleep. Come and get me. The zug that they heard is him slamming the door, going out the front door. It's different possibilities, you know what I'm saying?
Anything's possible because we have he disappeared. There's not a hair, there's not a trace, there's not a scent, nothing. And people just don't disappear without a trace. We don't have aliens kidnapping people, but we do have humans with soft hearts that will take a child in. Oh, I just would hope that someone wouldn't do that because that's not right either.
No, it's not right.
You can't just
But
take these situations like into your own hands. That's crazy.
It's just like Summer Wells. I honestly believe that girl has been taken and put into a convent and been raised by a church.
Really? Interesting.
Like that David
Bing bong.
crash out there in Texas. Because Robin was one of his children back then. She was 14-year-old when they raided that place. She came out, and now she's up there in Tennessee.
You mean the guy that played the flute for Summer?
No. Robin is her teacher.
Oh, I thought you said David.
David Koresh.
Oh, David Koresh. Right, like a compound.
She was a child in that compound. Mm-hmm. Robin was at the age of 14-year-old. And she was the one that got to walk out.
All right. Well, thank you, Doug. I've got to let other people call in. Melissa has tried 3 times. I appreciate you. Please call in again. Much love to you. You
have a wonderful day.
You too.
And I'll stop making people mad.
No, you're not making anybody mad. All right. See you later, Doug.
Oh, yes, I did. Trust me, it's on.
Well,
you too.
It's all right. You're all good here, Doug. All right.
See you. Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's get this phone line going again. 727-755-6001. I didn't hear him say David Crush. I thought he meant David from the summer show who played the damn flute. Give me a call, 727-755-6001. We are live on the air for our Wednesday night call-in show. Let me know what you think. Am I being a little too critical or no? You are live on air with Jay. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Jay. It's Jackie from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Jackie. How you doing?
I'm good. I've been following this case since the very beginning, and it's so hard to keep a one-track mind on certain things. But from the very beginning, one confided in anyone at school. I know what Doug was saying, but I mean, do you think it's possible at all that maybe he had a teacher friend that he confided in, and I don't know, maybe they played PlayStation together? I mean, you never know, and they came and got him and are keeping him safe. I mean, it's a long shot.
I mean, it's wishful thinking, honestly. I mean, I would love
I know.
I would love to think that somebody scooped him up out of the goodness of their hearts and are caring for him, and he's happy and smiling and all that. And it's just the no evidence of anything blows my mind. Yeah.
Like, there has to be.
Like, if he ran away, though, there would be evidence. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I just don't. It's like this whole thing is insane.
Mm-hmm. And I don't
understand.
like that the parents lied in the very beginning. You know, like, I'm wondering what they told investigators if they lied on YouTube. I don't like lying about the little things, because it makes you wonder why. There's got to be a motive to lie. When you're in a position, your child's missing, you didn't do anything. You have absolutely nothing to lie about unless you're hiding other things that maybe aren't related. I don't know.
Right. Well, and one other thing, and I know not all parents are the same, but I would give my life for my boys, period. No, not 1 second thought in my brain. And I don't know. Just the thought of it, I could break down. The thought of something happening to them. And I just don't understand. And I'm not blaming. I'm not any of that. I just don't understand how Katie can keep her composure as she is. I mean, I'm not blaming. I just know if it were me, I would be losing my ever-loving mind. I would probably be in a mental hospital. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It doesn't make sense.
I just don't understand. But I won't keep you up. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for all you do, and thank you to Julia.
Oh,
hi, Julia.
She's in chat. Yep.
I think she's absolutely amazing.
Don't forget Gator.
I know. I think she's absolutely amazing. And to anyone that wants to, and Terry Lynn, of course, but to anyone who wants to say negative things, what are they doing to try to find him? That's what I'd like to know. Mm-hmm. The negative people, because they're sitting on their asses behind their computer, period. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
it infuriates me. Yeah. It really does. But anyways.
Well, thank you so much. Your opinion is always welcome here. No, I appreciate your call, and thank you for calling in.
Yep, and thank you for everything, and I'll be watching.
All right, thanks so much. Thank you for your support.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Shall we play a game?
All right, give me a call, 727-755-6001. We don't know that she's keeping her composure. Ever wonder why she doesn't come on these lives or do many interviews? Good point. Good point.
Call from
517. You are live on the air.
Hi.
Hi there. Who am I talking to?
My name is Kim. I'm from Michigan.
Well, hello, Kim from Michigan. I thought I recognized that 517. Are you up there in the Saginaw area?
Yes, I am.
All right. Kick ass. What's up? How are things in the mitten?
It's really nice here right now.
I bet.
I been watching this from the beginning also, and I'm 64, and I raised a very severe autistic son that I love dearly. So I have a lot of experience. And I would just like to say that I think that this woman, she definitely had the whole day planned out. I mean, for her to have all those shopping, lunch, popcorn, taking them to the restaurant, meeting the aunt or the cousin.
Best
I mean,
day
that's
ever.
a lot for
Best day ever, right?
Right. And everything with the 3-hour phone call and the whole weird time frame. I think you were on to something with your lights in the background, the floodlights. Because I think that she honestly gave him a little bit of extra lithium to make him extra drowsy, or either told him he was packing an overnight bag, and so there was no ruckus, and because he's thinking he's going and spending the night somewhere, or either she gave him medication and he was in a heavy sleep and they moved him into the car. It's something like that. But I just think all this, her leaving town, and no mother does that. Your kid runs away and you're going to leave 48 hours, 24 hours and go to another state. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Right. No, it really doesn't. I mean, what was he supposed to do if he came home? You know?
Right, exactly.
What then? He comes home to a house that's locked up and Mom and Mr. Chris are gone?
Yeah, I mean, that just, there's no logical reason, you know, and I don't believe that Chris was at work like he says he was. I think somebody's covering something up. I think he was either at the house or something. He pulled a fast one. Because he's acting all cocky, like he's gotten away with something.
Overall, I think he's like that, you know, just himself. I think that's a lot of his personality as well.
Well, yes, I agree. But I think he, you know, gave her an ultimatum, you know, that he wanted his daughter and didn't want Sebastian there. Unfortunately, I have met a couple men, you know, along my way that I fell in love with and couldn't handle my son, so naturally, you know, they went goodbye. So
good for you.
Or I sent them up.
Good for you.
Yeah. But so I'm just saying, you know, unfortunately, he's that type of individual.
Yep.
And she, I think, has just been so manipulated for so long. I don't know. I mean, some women have to have a man in their life.
For sure.
You know.
Well, you know, it's like somebody just said that Katie had so much, you know, trauma that, you know, she learned to disassociate herself as a little girl when she was SA'd, and that makes a lot of sense. How Katie deals with trauma is going to be different than how I deal with trauma.
Right. You're absolutely right.
I just prefer to give grace right now because I don't know who did what, and there's lies coming from both sides, if you will. I don't prefer to pick sides. I'm not picking sides. I don't think there should be sides in a missing kids case. I think that's insane. But I don't like that both sides have lied about, you know, Sebastian's activities, and that to me is enough of a red flag to say there's more to the story.
Well, exactly. And I just, I think there's red flags all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think the whole thing is very sad. I know you've got to get other callers.
Yep,
in,
I got to take another one right now. Looks like I got another Michigan person coming in. So thank you so
That's
much for your
great.
call and stay
Take
safe
care.
up there. I love my Michigan
Oh,
folks.
I will.
Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, hon. All right, the phone line is open, 727-755-6001. I can only take one call at a time, folks.
Call from
Sheila K.
You are live on air with Jay. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Jay, it's Sheila.
Hey,
How
Sheila.
are you tonight?
I'm good.
Hey, I saw you the other night on, I was watching ID. It must have been a rerun. And there you are.
Oh, on the Mean Girls show?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I was like,
awesome.
oh, there's Jay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, awesome.
So with Sebastian, breaks my heart. What breaks my heart the most is how all the parents are acting. I think the turmoil that's been going on between all of them since Sebastian went missing is something that probably was happening even when he wasn't missing. So that's kind of saddening that they can't work together to raise a child. But I think, all that people have to go on, such as us, is what we hear from the parents, because really law enforcement has said very little about this case, So you go back to the interviews, and I think we have to just stay with where did Sebastian go supposedly missing from?
Mm-hmm.
The house. Katie was there. There's no evidence that they've given out that the law enforcement has said, so we don't really know if there's, what was it they said, that they had scent from the dogs, then they didn't. I mean, it goes back and forth, so it causes a lot of confusion in the case. But I don't know, that first interview Katie did with, I forget who it was, but
was it the hand interview?
She said something. I think it was the very first one, I think, when she was rocking back and forth. I can't remember. It was the very first one that I saw.
Yeah, the one in their house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she said, and I know sometimes you can misspeak, but she was telling what happened, and she said, I woke him up at 6 a.m. for school, and he was gone. She didn't say when she went to wake him up. She said, I woke him up. It was very odd.
I caught that too. Yeah, I woke him up for school and he wasn't there.
Yeah, and I thought, well, that's an odd thing to say, and I thought, why is nobody else wondering what that meant? Now, I would love for somebody to have him and keeping him safe. That would be wonderful. Absolutely. I don't believe that that's what's going on. I think if Sebastian was taken somewhere and somebody else has him, I think it was taken by probably Katie. He was probably taken somewhere by Katie. Somebody met her. It's just so many different changes in the interviews. I don't know how the story changes that many times. I feel like I'm listening to Dawn and Candace.
Oh, God, don't even say that. But yeah, I know. Bunch of word salad.
Well, you remember how Dawn and Candace was.
Oh.
I mean, they would do an interview. People would start talking about.
I called.
Yeah, I remember. I watched you then. Yeah,
right after the boys were taken, right in the very beginning, and I, was very nice to him because I didn't know what happened to Summer at that time. We knew nothing.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. But every time they did an interview, and then people would start. Yeah, critiquing what they said. They'd do another interview and they would change it, remember? And that's what's been going on here. Every time they do an interview and people critique what they say, well, they fix that the next time. And I just think it's really sad because, honestly, I was kidnapped like 36 years ago when I was 21. I was, yeah. And I'm telling you right now, I could tell you that story word for word, minute by minute. Like, things don't change when something like that happens. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, they're in shock. No, You remember every second for the rest of your life. Like, I don't know how the story changes so much,
It shouldn't. The truth doesn't change,
No, it doesn't, and that's what I have a problem with. But I do wish, the parents could work better together. I'm with you. Why are they none of them cleared? I mean, I don't know. If it was my child, I'd be going in there handing them everything. I'd say, here's my phone, here's their phone. Let me take a lie detector test. I want to be off of the radar. I want to find my child. I mean, I don't know. I think there's just too much hiding of things from, especially Katie. I mean, she doesn't talk. I mean, Chris talks for her, so.
But what
I know
if,
he's
law
not
enforcement, law enforcement, if they tell you, don't go on social media, don't go on podcasts, what if she's actually following what law enforcement asked of them? And, Seth isn't, and that's
could be,
why
but
he's not getting any communication.
Oh, and I do believe that a lot of reason why Seth probably doesn't get communication is because I think it is hard for him to
he can't keep
not
anything
give
to
out
himself.
the information. Yeah, I
mean,
do
there's
feel
leaked
like that.
audios, there's leaked emails. I mean, he can't be talked about with this case. He just can't.
No. But I mean, I don't know. How would we all act? We think we know how we act. People, when I would tell my story, would say, oh, I would have done this. Well, you don't know what you will do until that situation arises, but I don't know. I have a funny feeling. I think it was my child. I mean, I'm not quite sure that I could act so nonchalant about it, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know, there's not enough, they're not doing enough to me to find their child. I'd probably be in tears every single time they talk to me. I mean, I don't know. I heard a woman call in on a show. Her daughter had been missing for 27 years, and this woman is still looking for her child. You know what I mean? And
I've seen people that they never even changed their room.
Yeah.
After
years. So I don't know. But I think you got to stay in the house. It's the only thing we really know right now. I mean, we know very little from law enforcement. And you're right. Law enforcement can say, you passed a polygraph, and you may have not passed it. They can lie just to keep you talking or to keep the investigation going, make you think you're cleared. But I don't think I've heard anybody been cleared. Have you?
Nope. Everything's still on the table as far as law enforcement has said.
Just a weird case. It really is a weird one. When I saw this, I thought, I remember you when you were covering summer. After a long time, it got to you so much, you said, I'm going to have to take a break from this because you get to that point when it's kids that you're talking about.
You remember
your heart
that?
goes out to them.
Yeah,
I do. I remember that.
Yeah, It did. It got to me. I was gone for a while.
Yeah, and you said, I just, I can't do it no more. And I understood that. I had to do the same.
Mm-hmm. And
I got up every morning looking for an update on summer, and you don't get it. It gets heartbreaking.
Yeah,
and
it can kind of start to take over. And I think you bring up a good point that we all need to kind of be aware of how invested we're getting in cases of people we really don't know, and how far our empathy is taking us, and kind of, just be self-reflect on that, because it does take a toll on your mental health, and you have to be mindful of that and reminded of that sometimes. So thank you for bringing that up, because mental health is so important, because true crime is so heavy.
But I like how you do. I just want to thank you for what you do, because you normally, you start out covering it, and then you always say, hey, let's take a step back. Let's look at what we know, and then you start laying it out, and it's the truth. We really don't know very much on this case right now, not from law enforcement.
I think we don't know enough from law enforcement to get this crazy right now. I think that Tony Mathis brought in so much craziness and literal drama with his criminal backgrounds of his people. I mean, it's ludicrous. And
I believe that as well.
It just made it so much worse. And I'm not going to stop talking about Sebastian. But obviously, without talking about all that noise, I'm going to be moving on and talking about all of the other cases that I've been following and updating on those. So, I mean, not that I've forgotten Sebastian, but all of this craziness doesn't do one thing to find him.
No, you're right. It doesn't. I pray that Sebastian is found safe. I don't know if that'll happen, but it does break my heart. It breaks my heart with Summer. You know what I mean? But, you have to move on because law enforcement has to do their thing. And trust me, they have a mess right now to try to figure out, like they did in Summer's case. I mean, it was a mess. After a while, it was a mess. But I agree with you. I think sometimes you have to kind of take a step back and what do we really know? Really not much.
No, we don't. And all these people, fighting with one another and hating on one another. Who went to the vigil? Who didn't? I mean, just enough, and then bringing people's personal lives into it. That's when I look at YouTube and I'm like, dude, I got to take a step out of this because this is getting to a level that it should never go to. And that's just a shame for Sebastian,
Yeah, and I don't think people do it out of some people, of course, will do it probably for clicking, but, that's them. But I think a lot of people, such as myself, you, a lot of the viewers that you have, they really just want to find Sebastian or do something to help find Sebastian. But I think it does sometimes get out of control.
It does. It does. And you know what I'm going to do my best to do? I'm going to do my best to keep it real. And, if something sounds hinky, it's okay to talk about it. If, parents are lying and telling different stories in interviews, it's okay to point that out because it does matter. That shouldn't happen.
Well, that's something they did, and you can back that up.
Correct.
You can prove that they done that. But these other things that that people can't prove and putting it out there, a lot of times hurts the case. But you can prove that some people have lied multiple times in interviews. They have lied about taking polygraphs in the beginning, those things can be proved just by what they say. So, but you do a good job, and I appreciate it. I'm going to let somebody else call in. I just felt like I needed to call in.
Thank you so much. It was a great call.
I'm just praying for Sebastian and you as well.
Thank you very much. Same goes to you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too, hon.
Bye.
Bye. What a great caller, sweetheart. All right. Give me a call, 727-755-6001.
From.
You are live on air with Jay. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Jay. You seem to be good on knowing everything. I just have a question.
Who is this?
Tina White from Ohio.
Oh, hey, Tina. What's up, Tina?
Okay, the camper, his little effing fifth wheel or whatever he wants to call it.
Sure.
Has that ever been checked?
I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
Okay, because I have a little theory that I've been watching this from day one. I watch you and everything and all your theories.
Yeah.
You're so freaking awesome.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm obsessed with you.
Oh, that's so nice, Tina.
But I have a theory. I have a little theory. I'm not perfect.
No, tell
but
me
it's
your
driving
theory.
me nuts.
No, tell me. Get it out.
Okay, all of your stuff, but okay. You know how they say they might have seen Chris's mother over by Wash. I don't know how you say it.
By the Washrooms.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm wondering if she was waiting there. I don't know what happened to Sebastian in the house, but I believe he was killed. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Yep.
I believe he was killed,
and
I believe he was taken out. I think she was waiting there for the body to be transferred when Katie left at the 6 a.m., and I believe she took the body, Kathy, took it to her house. Now, this is just my theory. And then I believe the stepfather or somebody drove Sebastian's body to Mississippi, to Chris, to that camper. And I believe, when Chris came back the day that Sebastian was missing, and then he got it cleared to go back down there. If you hear in the interview, Chris says the whole time, well, yeah, we got cleared to go back. We did. He said it like 3 or 4 times. We went down, and then he changed it. He said, well, she didn't go, I did. I believe somebody went with him down there to get rid of the body.
Is that why he also said he stopped on the side of the road to help someone?
Yes, I believe somebody was
Wait a
with
minute,
him.
wait a
I
minute, wait a
really
minute.
do.
Where did he say he stopped on the side of the road and picked someone up or helped someone?
I don't know, Jay, but figure it out because I
shit.
swear to God, there's something that's, I mean, this is keeping me up at
You're
night.
so right, though. There was that from Chris. Okay, I'm going to make a note of that. Tina.
You check in it, take some more calls, but that part is bugging me. Something with the camper. It's been bugging me and bugging
and
me.
Austin in chat said they searched it when he first came back from work the first day of the investigation. So I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know. I mean, Austin, how do you know that? I'm not sure.
The first day back?
When he brought the camper back, remember he came home and then he's like, oh, I'm going to go pick up.
That was after the 17 hours, though.
Mm-hmm. The camper
that was
wasn't checked
after the
until
17 hours.
he brought the camper back. Right.
But was that with dogs? Or
I
just
don't know. Austin,
looking
do you know how it was checked? Because Terry Lynn said it wasn't checked initially, but she said all the vehicles, I believe, let me double check with Terry. Terry, let us know where all
you
the
check
vehicles
on it, Jay.
checked.
I trust you.
Thank you.
You check on it, girl.
Okay.
Thank you
Tina.
for. I know you get some other people. All right.
All right. Bye,
All
hon.
right. Bye.
Bye. Great thoughts from Tina.
Bing bang.
So what do you guys think? 17 hours is a long time. I believe Terry said that they did look at the vehicles, though. Retired FBI said the camper was checked. Yeah, but 17 hours doesn't get rid of evidence. And if it smelled like bleach, that's even more of a red flag. You know what I mean? What's up, Kristen? What's up? Jay, what?
Melissa.
Melissa, you're live on air with Jay. What's on your mind?
Hi, Jay.
Hey, Melissa. What's up?
Oh, my God. I've been trying to call like a lunatic.
Oh, are you the one
probably
in
think
chat
I'm
that said, I
crazy.
can't get through? Melissa, the floor is yours, hon. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's so funny. I'm not crazy.
You're
Seriously,
not crazy.
I'm not.
You're not crazy. You're good.
No. So I just have a lot to say, and I love your channel, by the way. I watch it. I mean, like, I follow Summer. I've followed many, and I've watched your channel. And at one time, I was a member, and then I couldn't afford it, but I became a member again today, so it's all good.
Thank you so much for becoming a member today. I appreciate your support.
No, but anyway, what I want to say is, I have a special needs adult child, and I've been a single parent her whole life. And she's 30. She'll be 31 in June. I'll be 63 in June. We both are like a week apart.
Aw, that's cool.
Me and my daughter.
Yeah, that's cool.
But anyway, she's not labeled autistic, but my daughter's very delayed. She's like a child, in many ways. I mean, she can walk, she can talk, she has a awesome personality, but, she's like a child. And I think from what I understand, but, I don't know Sebastian, but from following it, that's kind of how he is. Like, he could be high functioning in some ways, but really, needed supervision and stuff,
Yeah.
And I think that day, first of all, if I did all that stuff in one day with my daughter, she would be off the charts, like overstimulated, messed up. She would probably have a tantrum at some point. I could never do all that. And no child is the same. I'm not saying that, but that's a lot for a special needs child in one day. So I think something happened that night. I don't know that it was on purpose. I don't think it's on purpose really, but it could be
something was taken too far.
Yeah.
Well,
And
look at
I
Seth.
think
Look at Seth's
Sebastian
theory that
was,
came out.
because I will tell you this, okay? And I am a real person.
I believe that. Hello?
I'm sorry.
Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. I can hear you. Hello? Did I lose you? Oh, I lost her. Shoot, call back in. 727-755-6001. Give me a call. I'm pretty sure that he said what road he was on when he stopped to help someone, but I'll have to figure out that later. Yeah, the storms, the people that are getting storms, stay safe. Stay safe. It's very overstimulating. I agree. So was it the best day ever? Or was it something else, you know? Was it best day ever, or did Katie just do what Katie wanted to do and he was along for the ride? You know what I mean? You're alive on air with Jay. Who am I talking to?
Melissa Firestone. I don't know what happened.
Melissa,
I lost you.
You finally get through and then you drop. What's up?
I know, isn't that crazy? But anyway, what I'm saying is, I think I think it was too much. But, you know, like watching her, like, I want to tell you something, Jay. My daughter, like, I haven't had a social life or dated since my daughter was like 6. And she's going to be 31. And when I tell you I don't go anywhere, I went out for the first time without her like 5 years ago, and it had been 12 years. Like, seriously, I can't just leave my daughter with anybody, and I don't. I know these type of children, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Jay?
no, I do. I mean, I hear you. I mean,
and there's a lot of things that have been said. Like, I do believe Sebastian didn't have internet, because I can't let my daughter my daughter can't even have a phone. Like, she's like 5, but like in some ways 12. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but maturity, like, I can't leave her alone or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, but like sometimes she can have an attitude of a 12-year-old. You know what I mean?
Sure,
but
sure.
She's like a child. I can't leave her, so she doesn't have internet access. Oh, she has a, Nintendo Switch that I bought her that she doesn't ask for. My daughter's doesn't even ask for hardly anything. Because she's not mature enough to ask for that stuff, but I get it for her to help her, to develop her mind,
Sure.
But it's on a Switch. My daughter doesn't have internet access. So I don't think that's mean or weird that he wasn't allowed to have that at all. Because, I don't know him, but my daughter can't handle that. My daughter is immature. She couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
And
I just think that they played up the disability more than it was.
I just think that
because we saw him, we saw him interacting, bowling and stuff. Like, he didn't have to be told.
Oh, Margaret does too.
Mhm.
Like, Margaret
But
looks
he
like that too. But
he also was home. Like, when Seth was asked where Sebastian would go when Katie was working, he would come home after work or after school and be home alone until Katie got home. So he
he probably shouldn't have been.
Right.
Though.
Is that when he would be wandering around? Because Chris
Mhm.
said that they came home one day and he was in the neighbor's yard. I don't know what he was doing. I mean,
I could never.
Could you imagine?
My daughter can't be unsupervised. You know what I'm saying? Like, she can be downstairs or something in my house, but I mean, I can't leave my daughter home alone. Ever. I mean, if she's asleep, I might run to the store, but I tell her, and she's in bed asleep, and I'll be back in 10 minutes. Yeah, I can do that, but not like just say, oh, hi, I'm leaving. No, I can't do that.
I agree.
And there's certain things too, like, and I don't mean to make this long, but I'm just saying this is something I've been wanting to get out to a lot of channels. So, you know, like about these, my daughter never had problems with, like after my daughter was a baby and got potty trained, she got trained a little late because my daughter has multiple medical stuff along with her delay. I'm lucky she can walk and talk and have a personality, and she's pretty amazing. But, you know, my daughter could have been a lot worse off. Like, it's amazing. She's a miracle.
Well, and you're a good mother, too. So don't cut
thank
yourself
you,
short
thank
there,
you.
hon.
Well, I don't mean that. But what I'm saying is she regressed during that pandemic, and now my daughter has to wear freaking Depends, okay? Like, they're not Depends, but, you know, they're ones I used to buy. But it's gotten even worse, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, my daughter has never done, she started doing this in the last year after behaviors I went through because of the pandemic of her being home for 3 years and shut off from her day programs, you know?
Yeah.
Because my daughter went to school and graduated, but then she was in day program, and then it closed down, and then we had to find a new one, and it was 3 years. She was home with nothing. And all I had was her, and all she had was me, and that's all we have usually, but at least we have a break, you know, like a couple hours a day.
Yeah.
But that she regressed, and so now my daughter has to wear those things, not because she always has accidents, but she doesn't wipe good anymore, and then she has them at night. Now she's having accidents at night. I'm like, I have a 30-year-old that never had accidents, and now she's been having them on and off for a year. It's crazy.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
And so I feel bad. No, but what I'm saying is, like, don't people fault them for having them wear those? Because he might have regressed, and Seth might not have known that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point to consider.
I'm not, you know, I just wanted to say that. I'm not for, I think the Proudfoots are very guilty, and I feel terrible for Seth. But what I'm saying is I just wanted that out there, because if you don't live with him full time, you don't know all the stages that they can go through. Like, it can change, you know?
I've wondered about that. I've wondered about Sebastian's life through the pandemic.
I wonder that Seth is a bad, you know.
No, I'm talking about No, I'm going back to what you said about the pandemic. I wonder what his life was like through the pandemic.
I can't even imagine it. I mean, you know, my daughter.
Same with Maddie Soto.
Me and her.
Maddie Soto, was she stuck with Stephen Stearns?
Yeah, it's always been me and her, you know. Oh, yeah, Madeline Soto. Oh, my God. I wish they would get Jen Soto soon.
I know.
That woman is such a sad excuse. I don't even know what to say about that.
I hear you.
That is the worst. I got news for you, Jay. If anything, if I was worried, if my daughter wasn't where she's supposed to be, which is in my house, and right now she's in her bedroom in bed, tucked away with her 18-year-old puppy. We've had him for 18 years. And then I have another puppy in my bed that's 9 years. We have pups.
I love my puppies, too. I love animals.
Oh.
Animal lovers.
And he's 18, her little shadow. His name is Murphy.
Cute.
He's a dachshund poodle. Oh, my God.
Cute.
And then I have this Mickey over here who's a little stink.
Oh, you'll have to
But
email
he's
us some
a
pictures.
Yorkie.
Email us some pictures.
I would love. I know. I don't know how to email. I'm getting old, Jay.
It's okay. It's okay. Well,
I'm
thanks
gonna
for
be
calling in, Melissa.
63. I don't act it.
Well, you're
Hey,
doing wonderful.
But what I want, I don't act it. But what I wanted to say though is, I think something happened, and I don't trust Katie or asshole. I can't stand Chris. And I feel bad for Seth, but what is going on with all these weirdos? Like,
I wish I
I'm
knew.
so confused.
I wish I knew.
I just don't understand it. I'm so kind of confused.
Well, I mean, you follow all these cases. You know, the crazies come out. The people come out when things are open-ended.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm sorry. I hope I don't.
No, you're
sound
okay, babe.
stupid,
No.
'cause I can't hear myself.
You don't sound stupid at all, Melissa. Thank you for getting
through. I just
through.
wanted you guys to know that, like, it's complicated having a special needs child adult.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm not faulting. Like, I don't trust Katie and Chris
Mm-hmm.
at all. I mean, I think something happened there, and I know they're covering something up. I don't know what's up. I don't even want to think about it because it breaks my heart. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because nothing could ever happen to my daughter. You know, you'd have to shoot me or do whatever first, you know.
I know,
But
honey.
what I'm saying is, because it breaks my heart.
I know it does.
But what I'm saying is, like, some things that were said, it kind of hit me in the heart because people were saying, why does he wear diapers here and not there? You know, you don't know what you know, how kids regress.
And what they're going
especially special needs.
Yeah.
You know, like special needs kids need routine. My daughter was out of a routine for 3 years.
Yeah.
And it was hard on both of us because we were together 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I got you.
And we're together all the time anyway, but we get a break for like 6 hours a day, which helps, you know?
Yeah.
But other than that,
I'm glad you
know what
guys.
I'm saying?
glad you guys have that connection, and it sounds like you've done an amazing job raising your daughter, and I think you should be very proud.
Oh, thank you.
And embrace. Go
and
hug her.
I'm not trying to say that.
No, go
like,
hug.
That's not what
Go
it's
hug her a
called,
little
then.
tighter tonight, okay?
Hey, thank you, Jay. I really love your channel. I wasn't calling to get that,
Melissa.
You know, I was just
I know,
wanting to,
but I'm telling you that. That's coming from me.
No, well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I know, and I appreciate it. I love your channel. I've been watching you a long time.
Aw.
Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I hope I become like a normal that you know, and we can call and chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that you were so perseverance on you're so, you didn't give up. So I'm glad you finally got through. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope to talk to you again.
Thank you so much.
Bye, hon.
Thank you so much. Have a good
You
night.
too, hon.
Bye.
Bye.
Call from
Melissa.
Lisa.
Thank you for calling in, Melissa. You are live on air with Jay. Who am I talking to?
This is Lisa from Texas.
Hi, Lisa. What's on your mind tonight?
Hi, I've been watching this case on different channels, and I'm kind of wondering. There's two things I'm thinking. One is maybe he really never left the house, and that's been said. So could he be somewhere in the house, in the wall, in the insulation, in the attic? I don't know if
They
this
did check
place
the
is a-
walls.
Yeah.
They did scan the walls. I do know they did that.
Okay. Well, the second thing is the use of the flashlight. And how do they know for sure there was a flashlight? And then we've seen shows where there were, some flashlight footage in the back and all. And I'm wondering, but at the same time, maybe thinking he never left the house. I don't know if that means if someone's carrying him and they have flashlights, would that kind of maybe not bring the scent that he actually left the house if he's being carried and there are flashlights?
Could be. I mean,
yeah.
What I'm confused about is the whole scent on the dispatch. It sounded like the dog ran straight to the pond and dove in, but then we're hearing there was no scent. So is that something that maybe law enforcement walked back on as part of their investigation. I don't know. It's weird because you hear that handler, he's actually out of breath. So he that dog started running and he had to run to keep up with him. It's interesting.
That's interesting. I don't understand that. I don't know. And how long were these the ones that were in charge? How long have they been doing this, working this? The experience of the dogs. Yeah. I'm also wondering, and I hate to say this, and I haven't seen anything new on it since 2 weeks ago. That leg that was found in Mississippi, I haven't heard that being mentioned. Do you know if that was solved yet?
It has not been. I just checked on it yesterday. There's no new updates. There's nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the only thoughts I have now so far.
Thank you. Great.
All right.
Great call.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon. Yeah. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that leg that was found in that pond, that is, ooh. Ryan says, I still believe if the person with the mattress has something to do with it. Good evening, Peaky. 727-755-6001. Let's take some more calls. I'm loving the callers tonight. Occam's razor, we need to understand autism is not easily diagnosed, and many times there are other medical issues to deal with. And we have to remember, like Potato said, it's a spectrum. Every person, it's unique to what their disabilities are.
From Nikki.
Nikki, you are live on air with Jays for Justice.
Hey, Jay, how are you?
Hey, girl, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Sorry if I'm sounding a little froggy. I got a little bit of a cold.
Oh, I'm stuffy too. So join the club. It's that time of year.
I gotta love it. So I have so many theories, girl. I've lost sleep over this kiddo.
Man.
I originally came over from watching the Riley Strain case. And once I started kind of getting invested in this case with everything, I really thought initially that he was taken in the car by Katie and handed off to Kathy, and then something happened at that point.
Gosh, you're the second person to have that same theory.
I know. But now I started thinking about something the other day. So we everybody heard that there was that major bust that happened with the child ring.
Yes.
Do we know if Sebastian would have been part of that at all? Would they not be saying anything yet because they're still investigating and trying to find out what happened and how he got there?
I think if they do it when they're at the point of a press conference, that they would have notified parents by then. Before I think so. I think they have everything pretty much where it needs to be before they come out public. And like how, I don't know if you've ever seen Grady Judd do his press conferences, and he's got 40 pictures behind him of all these scumbags, and he, has all their names and everything. So I think that's when they're already charged, and those kids have been, identified, and, trying to find their families, if they have families. I mean, it's so sad. To think that, how many kids did they rescue? 11?
That's what I heard. 11 or 12. Yeah.
What's the circumstances? I would love for them to tell us, this is the circumstances of this kid, just so we're more educated on what's going on with our kids out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just to know, is this happening through video games?
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. I had a friend of mine, I'm from Illinois, and she used to be in law enforcement and worked her way up to the FBI. And then she was this was back in the days of MySpace, when MySpace was huge. She was actually doing undercover pedophile busts on there.
Wow.
And some of the things she would tell, I remember saying to her one day, I was like, why is there a pink cow in your profile background?
Oh, the symbols.
And she said, and she was like, you forget I'm a 13-year-old girl.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, dang. But I mean, and so Yeah, it's sick. It's sick what's out there right now, but I wish they would give us more information because I think that could be enlightening, especially for Sebastian.
And it would help
You
parents
know?
as well to kind of get an idea of what's
Absolutely.
going on. Were these kids that came from abusive homes that ran away or were
Right.
groomed to, a
Mhm.
better life, so to speak? I think you're spot on.
Mhm.
I think, how can we get more information? I don't know if we can. If they're minors, maybe that's why they, don't.
That's what I'm wondering if they're protected because they're minors.
Yeah, I mean,
that
they
could
should
be a big part of it
but,
too.
But they can still tell
Right.
the circumstances without giving names.
Giving identifiers.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like out of these
Exactly.
11 kids, we've figured out that 5 of them were lured with video games. 3 were lured by
Mhm.
someone they knew. I mean, whatever the case is, it would be nice
Yep.
to know that. You're
Yep.
right. Thank you.
I
That was
agree.
a very enlightening
Yeah.
thought. Thank you.
Yeah. I just, so that knowing that then now kind of takes me back to the whole Bauer Sox
Okay.
thing. It's so odd. I do think something happened that night. And I don't, there's the part of me that wants to say he's still alive, and I'm hoping for that. There's a part of me that thinks that, actually what Seth said could be true, that maybe he was given too much medication, enough to not unalive him, but, knock him out, for an extended amount of time to the point where Katie could have put him in her car unseen and then handed him off, given that amount of time to get back to her house. Then in the meantime, Kathy, could have handed it off to, her husband or, who knows what they would have done. I think they're all crazy pants, but
crazy pants.
Yeah.
But let me run
But-
something by you on top of that. So someone had called in earlier and said that Katie had said, I went to get him up for school and he wasn't, or I got him up for school and he wasn't there.
Mhm.
I got him up. I went to get him up for
I
school
got him up.
and he wasn't
Mhm.
there. So to
Yep.
bounce off your theory of the over medication, did she maybe
Mhm.
not realize until she went in wherever he was and he wasn't there anymore? He was gone.
Mhm.
Not gone physically, but gone.
Right.
The life was gone. And then he was
Mhm.
loaded in the vehicle. And then you're saying
Mhm.
met at Warsham's where Bauer Sox
Yep.
was seen, trade off,
Yep.
get rid of him,
Mhm.
meet. I don't know. I mean, what happens from there? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't, in the very beginning, when I trusted Tony, which I don't now, I just don't think he's any good on the case, to be honest. But in the very beginning, I actually sent a message to him kind of with my theories. And I had told him, I said, you need to be able to check. They need to be searching and looking at videotapes from the Bauer Sox home all the way to the Proudfoot home and check them for early morning hours and see if her car is spotted. I mean, these could come from anywhere, gas stations, anywhere, and see if Kathy's car is spotted. And if so, you can kind of trace it from camera to camera, and then it would kind of fit the script if they really do have people that are saying that, yes, her car was at Warsham's or nearby there. I mean, they should be able to track that back and see her path.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and,
So,
and maybe
yeah,
maybe they don't need to get their GPS from their vehicles because they've got devices they're checking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The other thing I thought too was possibly if Katie's car and Kathy's car are as identical or similar as a lot of people are saying, could it have just been a switch in the car? So she drove to Kathy, Katie drove to Kathy.
But
they switched.
The thing we have to
and
be
took each other's
careful.
cars.
We have to be careful though, is we don't have proof that Kathy was actually there.
Right.
That's
right.
the thing. I want to be careful
Right.
with that because that would mean that grandma's risking going to prison. And personally,
Absolutely.
I don't think that grandma really cared for Sebastian that much. I don't think Proudfoot's family really embraced him like they did their other grands. And
Mhm.
I don't know if she would risk that
But would she risk it? Exactly.
for Chris. She would do it for Chris maybe.
Mhm.
Because, the Nina
Mhm.
story. The Nina story
Right.
was a lot of Bauer Sox involvement. So with that being said, yes. I mean, Chris called his mom to come over first thing and be with Katie while he was on his way back, which took him forever.
Yeah. I don't know. This whole case is crazy, Jay. I've been trying to wrap my head around it this entire time. And every time I think, okay, they're on to something, something else happens.
I know it.
And it's like,
I know it.
left turn.
Well,
no
that's
signal.
why we're trying to
You
just
know?
stick with what
Yeah.
we know. I mean, even if we go back to the
Yeah.
beginning and watch some of those interviews again, I mean, 3 months has passed and a lot of things
Yeah.
have happened in those 3 months. And I think that maybe
Mhm.
going back to the beginning and rewatching those, knowing what we
Starting
know now.
over.
Mhm. Sometimes that's
Yep,
what it
absolutely.
takes. So thank you so
Yep.
much. I appreciate your call.
Well, yeah, girl, you have a good night.
You too. Thanks so much.
Okay, thanks, hon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, caller. Kathy is Chris's mother. Majestic, I don't mind you putting that link in chat, but can you just put report cybercrime? Can you just put that? Okay, yes. Mr. Crimecast, I saw that on the school website, actually. Another thing that hasn't been mentioned is that all Sumner County school kids received an iPad this year. You could take it home, and it did have access to the internet. I saw that on the school website. They have a whole section on the iPads. You're so right.
Timothy Dexter.
Timothy, you are live on air with Jay. What is on your mind?
Oh, great. I didn't think I'd get through.
You got through.
Yeah, my name's Timothy Dexter, upstate New York.
Nice to meet you.
I am a retired police detective.
Nice.
And I was wanting to see if I can shed some light on certain things.
Sure, I would love it. Go right ahead.
Last I heard, you were talking about the canines.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I'm just coming in with my dog.
Oh, no, you're okay.
Yes, I'm a retired canine handler.
Okay.
That's one of the things I did.
Awesome.
And the issue with the dog that jumped in the pond,
Mm-hmm.
sounds like that was the first dog they sent out, and which makes sense because that would be what's called a tracking dog. There are tracking dogs and there are trailing dogs. Most people don't realize that.
What's the difference?
Tracking dogs are like Belgian Malinois, German Shepherds. They track ground disturbance. They're not the kind of dog that you're going to give a scent article to. They're going to track the strongest scent or the strongest track ground disturbance that they can find. And that's usually the most recent and or the heaviest track that went through.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to need a scent article. They're not tracking, that dog wasn't tracking specifically Sebastian. And after that, once that dog goes through, you can't really use a tracking dog after that because they're going to track the handler that went through first.
Gotcha. So if it was
So it's
not
not going to
walked
be reliable
through.
after that.
Mhm. Gotcha.
So after that, you're going to need a trailing dog. Trailing dogs are like bloodhounds, blue tick coonhounds. You present them with a scent. They're tracking that particular, or trailing is how it's referred to. They're picking up the little pieces of scent, little particles that fall off people as they go through their daily life.
In the
That's
air
why they
too?
have the big ears.
In the air and the ground, right?
Yes, it could be in the air as well, but mostly once that stuff falls off, it hits the ground, and if it's on grass or dewy grass or whatever, it's going to stick to the grass or dirt or whatever it is.
Okay.
It's a little more difficult once it gets to a paved surface because it's going to blow around a little bit. But that trailing dog, you have to present the article, and it's going to trail Sebastian. So, and how they do that is that's why the dogs have the floppy ears that hang down and the jowls that, with all the saliva. That's like a big scoop as they go with their nose to the ground. It scoops up all that scent.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a German Shepherd, a Malinois, they're not designed for that. Because they have their ears stick up and they don't have the the big jowls that hang down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how that works. So it makes sense that they would use the tracking dog first. And then from what I'm hearing, I don't know what's true and what's not, 2 or 3 other dogs that were trailing dogs also followed that same path. So it stands to reason that if Sebastian did walk away from the house, which who knows at this point what actually happened, that they would track him and trail him to that pond if that's where he went. From there, it sounds like they didn't pick up any other tracks or trails, which is a little disappointing. But at least you kind of got a general direction where to search from there. So does that make sense?
It does. It does. So if he would have, let's say, if they said he walked away out the front door, let's say he went to go meet someone, the dog would have not gone in the backyard. It would have found the scent like from the front door to the road, right? I mean, even if it got to the concrete and it lost it, it would at least take you a different direction, right? So what I'm confused about, Tim, is that we heard the dispatch audio where they said Max dove in the pool and the handler was out of breath, but then we hear that there was no scent. But Chris Proudfoot insists that there was, so I don't know what to believe if they actually really got a scent.
Right.
Or if that's just part of the
Well,
investigation.
he may be confusing because, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
He may be confusing because maybe one of them said, well, it's a tracking dog. He doesn't follow scent, which would be true. He's not, the tracking dog is following. A tracking dog is going to stick right onto the foot, like within a foot left or right of that person where they walked. Whereas a trailing dog, that scent is could possibly move with the breeze.
Mm-hmm.
And especially once it gets to a concrete surface or a hard surface, a lot of times the trailing dog will go way off, like 20, 30 feet off, because that's where the scent is being kind of blown over towards, say, a hedgerow or something like that, where it stops and gathers up. And then so now they're way over there. They're way off the actual track by 20, 30 feet. Whereas a tracking dog is not going to do that. They're going to follow right where those shoes hit the grass, or the feet hit the grass.
That makes sense. So what do you?
So hopefully that.
Are you following this case, or do you follow true crime, or?
Yes, very much so.
So
yeah.
do you
I've
take
been
your
following
dogs
this
out
case.
and work on cases that you're asked to come bring them, or?
No, I'm retired.
You're retired.
Anything I do with my dog, I just throw a ball for him and let him go search.
They're living
for
their
it.
best
But,
life now. What's your dog's name?
Yeah. My current dog is Bo. He's not a police dog. My police dog was 3 dogs ago.
Oh.
He's since passed away.
Aw, well, bless him.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tim.
Another thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another thing, if I have the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how much time another thing that keeps coming up with this case that's bugging me is the whole investigation versus criminal investigation.
Mm-hmm.
There really isn't any difference. Okay, if you're a cop, you're investigating a case. If it leads to evidence of a crime and you have probable cause, then you make the arrest. If it doesn't, you don't. It's as simple as that. It's not like I start a case and I get to January 12th at 15:36 hours. Now it's considered a criminal case. It doesn't work like that. There's no difference.
Okay.
You start a case and you start investigating it. Now maybe other jurisdictions, maybe they want that specific thing so we can call it a criminal case. I have never seen that. I've never used that. And I've never seen any other jurisdiction that I've worked with look at it that way. It's an investigation. I mean, anything can turn into a crime. You could go to a motor vehicle accident where nobody's hurt, but as you're going along, you find out, well, this person was mad at this person because they cut him off in traffic, so they T-boned him on purpose. Now you got a crime.
Right. But
it's not like at that point.
Yeah.
Right. So as you go, You go where the evidence leads. You develop a theory. You try to disprove the theory if you can. If you can't, you have enough probable cause to make the arrest, you do. In this case, as far as searching the house, you don't have to say, well, now it's a criminal investigation, so now I can search the house. If you got enough probable cause to get a judge to sign a search warrant, then you can search the house. Or what I would hope in a case like this is the parents say, go ahead, search my house, do what you got to do. We got to find my kid. So it's not, I've never seen that where it's got to be one or the other. I mean, an investigation or a criminal investigation doesn't change anything that a cop would do.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
That makes total sense. I have a couple of things I want to run by you if you don't mind.
Sure. And I'd like to say that I've been listening to you, and a lot of the stuff you say is right on, and other people aren't really saying. I can't think of any specific examples, but a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm glad she said it because nobody else has been saying this. And for someone, I'm assuming you weren't a cop?
No.
So you got a pretty good head for it. So,
well, thanks.
So I appreciate that. So yeah, shoot, what do you got?
Okay, so my first one is they searched that landfill a week into the search for Sebastian. They would need probable cause to search a landfill, right?
They would need a warrant.
A warrant, I mean, which would mean probable cause, but
yeah, you would have to have a certain amount of reasonable cause to believe that you're going to find evidence there. So yes.
Could that be something as simple as the garbage man said their can was heavier the day that he went missing versus other times that he's picked up their trash? Would that be enough if you've got a missing kid and you've got the garbage can was heavier? Would that be enough for them to go in there and be able to search?
I would say so. I mean, you still got to get it by the judge. It's going to be up to a judge, but that would give me cause to want to search for it, as long as we can pinpoint where the garbage was dumped. I mean, just with that, I don't think I'd go searching the whole place, but if we could narrow it down, yeah. And it doesn't sound like they did a really killer search with that. Yeah, I mean, we've done them where you got a hazmat team and everybody's in hazmat gear. And they're out there for days
they were
and
literally
days.
kind of just raking through one area. I don't know, what they were looking for, but we had a girl in Michigan that went missing, and they knew the guy confessed, and he said he dumped her in this landfill or in a dumpster, and she went to this landfill. They never were able to recover her, and they searched for 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be tough. I mean, they do. I know in New York State anyway, they keep very good records of where they're dumping stuff when and what's on top of it, because those get to be like 50 feet deep. And not only can they tell you the grid as to 2-dimensional, but they can tell you 3-dimensional where they think it might be. They're pretty good about that.
Yeah,
in New
I
York
did
State.
hear that they said that they the garbage, whoever took the garbage to the dump was actually able to identify for cops where he dumped it, that neighborhood's garbage.
Yes, I did hear that as well. Yeah. So that, that might be why they didn't have to do too extensive a search. That they may have found, from what he said, they might have been able to find, well, this is the neighbor's garbage, so it would be right near here. I mean, it would take some investigating as to who threw out what. It would have to be something specific. Somebody might be able to identify something that they threw out, a certain kid's toy or something. And, well, that's the neighbor's toy right there, so it would be in this area, and we're not finding anything, so that might be why it was a short search.
Gotcha. The other thing that I'm curious about is it was said that Katie and Seth both went to the TBI a few weeks back, and they were shown this video and the trash truck or ruckus video or whatever you want to call it. And it came out, Chris Profit said that the DA was there at the TBI with them viewing this footage. And do you think that if the DA is involved, that it is moving towards, more of like they're heading towards, they do have a suspect in mind, or a crime occurred? something like that? I mean, is it normal for them to
We would
involve the
have-
DA like that?
Yes, the DA does get involved on pretty much anything, especially if it might be a felony or something like that. We would call them and tell them what we have, and they, in some cases they would come out and observe us while we work, and the CSI guys, the evidence guys, they could say, hey, can you bag that up or get a picture of that? But yeah, usually when they get involved, it's not for nothing. It's usually for something that they think may end up in court someday.
Interesting.
That's been my experience. Different departments might work differently, but
Right.
our department was, usually if we had a serious incident, or I did a lot of child abuse, sexual abuse with kids cases, and just about every one of those cases I would be calling them, and we had two specific ADAs that we worked with, and we would call them and say, hey, this is what we got, what do you think about this? And
Yeah, so like
and
as you're
they trusted us and we trusted them.
So as you're working through the evidence, you kind of present it to them as you're going to kind of let them know where you are in the case and everything like that.
Yeah, number one, so they don't get surprised Monday morning that, oh God, you should have called me on this. And the other thing is just, so they would trust that we're doing the right thing, and we could always, two heads are better than one, get somebody else that from that, their mindset's a little different than ours, as police officers. So to get their mindset on this, and it was very helpful.
I appreciate you answering that. Do you feel like with your experience and what you're seeing from law enforcement, which we're not getting a whole lot, but the fact that, that we're hearing Seth talk a lot, and he's saying that law enforcement won't communicate with him, which, I can understand just by how much he talks online. That's kind of a no-brainer. So it's hard to say if it's because just that, or, because if your child's missing, if my kid was missing, I would be like at their door every day, like, have you heard anything? I might even not leave the lobby. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I want to know everything.
Right.
If that phone rings, I want to know if it's about my kid. That's just me. I've never been in that position, but what do you think about him saying like, oh, they won't talk to me. They won't talk to my PR guy. I don't know if you know about the PR guy and if you have any thoughts on that, that you would be wanting to share.
Not a big fan.
It's up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with, but I'd like to get your thoughts just overall of what's going on.
Not a big fan of phony baloney Tony there.
TikTok Tony.
But yeah. Well, I went my whole career and I never had anything this big. I'm not from a big city. I'm from a city, but not a big city.
Mm-hmm.
Just from my experience, I got to the point where, especially with the child sex crimes, you don't know who you can trust. You don't know who the suspect is. You don't know. You would think that a victim of, a child, your child is a victim of a sexual assault, that you would be pretty cooperative with the guy investigating it, but you'd be surprised how many times they do everything they can to shut the kid up and protect the suspect and or marry the suspect while he's in prison. It's ridiculous. So my general thing I would tell people right off the bat since they walked in the door is I'm not telling you anything. I'm not telling you anything. When I'm done with the case, I'll explain it all to you. But until then, I never had anything this high profile. I probably wouldn't be able to get away with that in something this high profile.
Yeah.
But I would do everything I could, especially Seth, because he just kind of runs at the mouth. And Katie's disappeared, but Chris, he lets his temper. They both those guys let their temper get the best of them, and that's when people start talking and saying stupid stuff when their temper gets riled up.
Mm-hmm.
So I would push for not telling any of those three anything, especially in as far as Mr. Mathis. I wouldn't tell him anything, which he doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah,
So.
I felt the same way. Like, who does he think he is that And he wanted like the PIs to filter all the tips through him and stuff. And I just thought, this is a mess.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't happen.
Do you think
Not
that
if
law
I had anything to
enforcement
do with it.
is okay? So this is what I often wonder, and I don't know if you can answer this or not, but I'm gonna shoot anyways. I always wonder, if they're watching these things that go on, on social media, not necessarily, the drama part of it, but are they watching these interviews? Are they watching, what these people are saying and comparing it to what they told them when they questioned them? Things like that.
I would be now. When I was working, I was I was not so much into the social media stuff at all. Like I'm like within the last 2 years, I really started getting into YouTube, and I don't know how prevalent YouTube was and this kind of the web sleuths type of situation was when I was working. And like I said, I didn't have anything nearly this public going on. But if I were them now, yes, I would be all over it. I would be so immersed in this that I would be listening to every show, whether I was working or not. Obviously, when I was working, I probably wouldn't be able to listen much, but I would constantly have my earbuds in and be listening to shows, and it would be continuous unless I was sleeping.
Do you feel like, I know that the tips that are called in from rumors online are probably, something that hinders and because they have to look at those tips or whatever, and that's a waste of time. But do you think that the people, when, like people who may be suspects come online, do you think that it makes their job any easier by kind of hearing them tell their stories over and over and over without being, sitting in an interrogation room?
Yeah, I would love it because there's no Miranda, they can, whatever they say, basically hold it against them. And especially like Chris, when he gets tweaked, boy, he goes off, and I would be saying, yeah, tweak him some more.
Right.
the more they talk, the more chance they got of slipping up. Because I think there's something going on. There's something. I can't figure this case out because every avenue I take, I run into a dead end with any kind of theory that I come up with. But one thing I can say is I think that especially Katie and probably Chris, they're withholding something just from a statement analysis point of view. That first interview with I can't think of the girl's name there. She's not the one where they were holding hands. The brunette, second one where Katie was rocking.
Yeah, where I told him to go to bed and he did. That one.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, Katie looked like a hostage in that. I mean, there's, and that's another thing. I found that I know everybody says everybody reacts differently to these serious situations, but every case I've ever had, and I've had hundreds and hundreds of cases, every case where I said that person's not acting right, they were guilty. Could I prove it every time? No, but I never had somebody that rubbed me the wrong way like that, and they didn't have something to do with it. So I defer with people that say everybody acts differently when to a situation like this. There are certain things that a missing child's mother is going to do in an interview, and Katie didn't do any of those.
Yeah. Do you think that it would be taken into consideration if she, had a lot of like sexual abuse in her childhood and she learned to kind of just, keep everything inside and not really show any emotion and just compartmentalize it? Do you think that could be like a coping mechanism for her?
I would think that you're protecting your child would override that at some point. Just in general, I ran into a lot of people that their parents were criminals and their grandparents were criminals and now they're criminals. And I would tell them, look, at a certain point, you know right from wrong. You're a grown man now. You're 30 years old. You can't keep using that as an excuse.
Yeah.
You know what's right and you know what's wrong. If you choose to take the wrong path, then you get the consequences. And so I would think that at this point in her life, that I don't know, just she's got to step up and be a mom. And I wouldn't accept that as an excuse myself, but I could be wrong.
Well, I appreciate you, giving your opinion on that. That's a lot of people are agreeing with you in the chat. I do have Julia in the chat. I'm not sure if you've seen her. You've been following the case, so you probably have, right?
That's the canine handler?
The canine handler. Yeah, she wants to link up with you, and I would love to
Oh,
have you guys
cool.
both.
Awesome.
Would you be willing to come back on the show with Julia?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd love to. She probably knows way more about it than I do.
Well,
but
she definitely wants to talk to you, and I would love to link you guys up, and then, we can talk some of this stuff through, and I would love that. You guys are so amazing with your knowledge and your theories and talking us through this stuff.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I think she seemed to really know what she was talking about, and she's got way more credentials than I ever thought of having.
I know we call her GI Jules.
Nice.
So yeah, if you don't mind, I'll give her your number, if it's okay, the number you called in on.
Yeah,
So she can reach
that's
out?
fine.
Is that
Yep.
okay? All right, I'll do that.
Yeah,
and then,
absolutely.
I'll text you as well, and maybe we can set up something in the next few days or something when you guys have time. An hour and a half, or whatever you have time for. It would be wonderful. I'm so appreciative of you calling in.
I don't know what I can add that she wouldn't know, but yeah, I'd be willing to do that. Absolutely.
Well, that's nice of you to say. I can't wait to have you guys both on.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, give her my number and we'll take it from there.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, Tim. Thank you again for,
All right, thank you.
your call in. It was great.
And thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, say goodnight to Bo for us too.
I will. He's right here with me.
All right. I love the dog, so you're going to learn that about me real quick. All right. Have a good night, Tim.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, Julia, if you want to call in, 727-755-6001. I know, Julia, you're so funny. I know, with us it'd be 4 hours. I didn't want to scare him off right away. Thank you so much, Tim. That was awesome, and I appreciate you giving us your insight. It's awesome. Julia, give me a call. Let's talk for a few minutes. Julia, 727-755-6001. How was the quality of your call? It was good. Yeah, that was an awesome caller. I love getting news, or not news, but you know what I'm saying. I like picking the brains of law enforcement officers. Me too, Austin. Thank you, titties. Francine says that was the best call of the night. You're awesome. It's above Jay's head. 727-755-6001. Terry, welcome back in. Terry, did you like that? Or you were here for Tim? Awesome. I wasn't sure if you were still here.
Call from Olivia.
Hello, you are live on air with Jay.
Hi, Jay. It's Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
How are
I'm
you?
good.
Okay, I have a couple things. So first, what I think is, I think the parents are holding secrets on each other. Like, I feel like they have something that they're not sharing. And so it's kind of holding them both back, both parents, or all three parents, from coming out. I don't know if that makes sense, but, and so that's one. So the other is Seth being naked around him, hitting him in the head in front of a teacher. while having chromosome deletion. It's just that part sticks out to me and reminds me of Chris abusing him as well. There's no need for that at all. And then another is, it's hard for some people to understand the police are not going to give information to someone that just walks in the police department. They're just not going to do that.
Right. Right. I mean, what they are going to give them is what they've put out on the TBI website. That's what they're going to give them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly that. And then I do not feel like he walked out the front door. I feel like they want us to believe that, but it's just not what happened, in my opinion. And then another is, there are people stating facts from what the parents have said.
Yes.
And in my opinion, that's not going to work.
Nope.
Bing bang. It's just not going to work. I don't care what Seth said. I don't care what Chris and Katie said. Who cares at this point? There's too much of a circus going on. And I feel like that's just craziness. And, I took notes. One other thing is like the search warrant that they would need for the landfill. Of course, they could do it with permission, but at the same time, they would need to have a warrant in order to use the evidence that they may find. So, going in without that would be hard to use in a trial or any kind of prosecution.
Right.
So that's my opinion, and I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Aw,
and
thanks.
I like your channel. You keep it real and straight to the point.
Thanks. I appreciate
and not
that.
taking either side.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
we
that
don't
guy
need to
was
take
great.
sides in missing kids
No.
case. That's just
No,
silly.
we're for the kid.
Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah, it's silly, and we're for the kid, for Sebastian. Like, I feel like a lot of people are just coming out of the woodworks wanting to, they're wanting to protect their reputation and all. It's about Sebastian. It's not about anything else.
Absolutely.
So I think that's about it. I just wanted to share that, and I appreciate you for taking my call.
Well, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for calling in and sharing your insight. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Have a good
I'll
night.
talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
You too. Thanks.
Bye. All right, Miss Julia, I am going to call you so you don't have to worry about it. We are calling Julia, Ara, and Gator.
You've reached Captain Julia.
It went straight to voicemail. Let's try again. There we go. This is Canine Handler Julia with Gator and Ara.
Hello.
Hi, is Ara home?
Oh, she's living in the basement right now with me because it's raining outside.
Is Gator there?
Yeah, Gator's here too.
Oh.
He's upstairs with Howie
Oh,
though. That's
darn
how
it.
we.
I guess I'll talk to Julia then.
Oh yeah. I'm the poor substitute compared to Gator and Aura. But seriously, wait till you see Marley.
Oh, I saw the picture. Let me pull the picture up. Let's talk about Marley.
Marley is an explosives canine, but she's also trained in firearms detection and GSR, which is gunshot residue. So I should probably explain why I'm bringing up Marley. So as I mentioned to you earlier, I've had a couple neighbors call me. I have a bunch of people email me, and without giving away too many details, I really have reason to believe that I have to go back up to Pennsylvania to take care of some things, but I'm coming back again after that. But I'm bringing Marley back down with me, and Marley is trained for GSR, like I said, in explosives and firearms. And I was going back and forth with Agent Simmons today about this. He's been awesome with me, by the way. We've been communicating. He's been great. I really appreciate him. So Marley is she's good at what she does, but she's the biggest nut bar, I think, of any Malinois I've ever met. She's got, I swear that dog does not have a bad day. She's always happy all the time, so I'm excited for
her to come back down. But
she's
the
beautiful.
next few days I'm still gonna. She knows it. So but I'm gonna be
She knows it.
oh my
I
God,
love it.
She's a diva, and honestly, she's sassy. But honestly, like if we're watching a football game back home in PA, because Ray's an Eagles fan, and so are all his friends. Yeah, Eagles. But if like anyone's raising their voice, this dog jumps up on the counter in the kitchen and like sits there with her ears folded back, all like she doesn't like when people raise their voices, but she looks like a dope, so I can't yell at her. I'm just like, Marley, what are you doing?
My golden puts
but
her
I'm
ears
so-
back like that too, and she looks so funny.
It's always when they know they've done something wrong too. They're just like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know, but Mom, I'm cute, and it's just like, yeah. But I'll still be here with Peter and R for the next 2 days. Probably through the weekend, probably Mondays when I'll go back up to. I have to take care of something with my unit, and then I'm going to come back again. But I'm bringing Marley with me, just because I'm trying to think of what I'm allowed to say here, because I want to actually like. This is
Don't give away too much.
Yeah. But the phone call I just had for like 5 minutes when Tim was on the phone, I was really mad because I wanted to hear what you were saying, and then my phone call finally called me back. I'm just like, this dude couldn't call me back like a little beforehand, but it was worth it. He was from the Tennessee Highway Patrol. He's an officer, and I didn't realize TBI and Sumner County hasn't communicated with the Highway Patrol people, the officers. And these guys are really, really insightful. It seems to me like they're our version in PA of our state police. And I was talking to them about like routes, and about like, crossing state lines and where the territories ends, and like if Sebastian were hypothetically be driven to Missouri or Mississippi, where does the territory start and end? I know people probably think it's weird that I'm going about this the more like, I'm trying to think of the word, not like a professor type of way. I'm trying to like knock out outside the box ways of thinking, because this is a very outside the box case.
Yeah,
and
it's
I know,
not like
I'm
you
just
were
a
given any information, right? So you're kind of going into this blind. So you're trying to find the best information of where you can spend your time, so you're not spinning your wheels, right?
Exactly. And no one gave me real information, or any information I did get, it was conflicting. Like the whole, somebody mentioned earlier, the footprint outside the retention pond. Well, I also heard it was a shoe print, like a size 10 shoe print. So there's just so many different conflicting things that I have to start from ground zero. And the big, this thing people have against me is, oh, she's a canine handler, what's she doing? And yeah, that's true, but I also was an investigative officer for the Army. So I know how to go about things in the legal way without stepping on anyone's feet.
So you're searching in an investigative way is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, without being paid as an investigator, and that's fine. I don't need that. I use my skills as an investigative officer to assist me with my canine searching, if that makes sense. So I ask questions, I think of different methods, and then I'll take Gator R out on a track or trail. Like I know this upcoming weekend, if the storms are fine before I get back to PA, one thing I want to do is search a couple lakes with Ara, but up until this morning, I didn't have a boat driver, but I have one now, and I'm excited about that. So how that works is the canine goes to the front of, and somebody said to me, like, can't you get like a license in, the state? And I could, but I can't operate a boat and watch what she's doing. So she's going to go to the front of the boat.
You're only
and
one
then I'm
person.
going to wait for an hour. I mean, as much as I would love to have 500 hands, that'd be kind of weird. But I have to like, I have to focus on what she's doing, because I don't know the extent of, besides what to do. There's divers that came out here. I don't know who else has really searched the lakes or what's been done.
Yeah.
So, and a couple of people have said, like, I know Terry Lynn's been doing awesome with like going through the rivers and the creeks and whatnot. I told her I think me, her, and Ara need to all get matching booties. I'm waiting for her to agree to that.
Yeah.
But I want to search these lakes, because I really don't think they've been searched. Like the narc divers isn't the guys, right? They were searching. I don't know what lakes they search. I never met them before, but it doesn't mean I can't do it again. And sorry if I'm talking fast. It's been a long.
No, you're
I was
fine.
so
You're fine.
amped today, but it's like gross outside, and it's been like raining, and then I got hail warning. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, be
but I
safe
wanna
when you
search it
when
again.
you travel back. Back and forth. How far is it? Is it?
It's like 7.5, 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
It's really not that far from me because I'm like in a weird part. PA is a very geographically weird state. Like Amish country is like right borderline with like Maryland, and I didn't figure that out honestly until like I don't know, like 5 years ago. Because I was just like, oh, it's right there. I'm just really, people keep asking me also, why are we researching areas like all these dogs have been in the house, or these dogs have been like on the, yes, they have been dogs everywhere, but then again, you probably, I don't know if you remember the Danilo Cavalcante case in Pennsylvania when that was going on.
Oh, yeah.
So he said in his interview, rescuers walked right past him or walked over him because he was hiding in the woods. He covered himself in animal feces and whatnot. To hide from the searchers, not necessarily the dogs, but the searchers. Now, if these dogs haven't been exposed to that environment before, like dealing with, like feces out in the woods, they're not going to, it's called scent discrimination. They're not going to be able to discriminate, I hate saying this, the poo from they're just not going to be able to, just like Gator searching a rehab. I put him off like peanut butter. Like I didn't want him walking into a rehab, searching a room and eating all the peanut butter sandwiches that people live out there.
Right.
I had to make sure he knew, like he couldn't be distracted. He needed to still find what he was looking for, even with that out there. So that's updates for sure. Like I'm going to be doing some lake searches. I want to go to this campground. It's kind of near the Hendersonville address. It's not open year round, but people still teenagers still sneak in there apparently. So there's a bunch of areas that people have sent me, and I encourage people, please still send me stuff. And I'm really sorry if I don't get back to the emails right away. It's just
you're reading
I'm doing
them.
this with my canine.
It's hard.
My friend Mike came down with me. Yeah, it is hard. And Terry Lynn is fantastic, and I know I'm planning on linking up there this weekend. It's just my first week and a half here was all about I've never been to this part of Tennessee before. I know nothing about anything. I want to get my layouts. I don't like going into something and not knowing where I'm at because then I look unsure, and then it doesn't come off as professional.
No, I got you.
So,
you gotta do your things your way, and all you can do is be honest about what you're doing, and people can accept it for what it is. You know what you do, and you are very confident in what you do. So, I mean, that's all. If that's where it is, that's where it is. Everybody in chat says thank you so much for your service and protecting us.
I'm not good at compliments. I've told you this. Like, oh my God,
you're going to have to get used to it because you're getting a lot of love here. You really are. I mean, people appreciate you. We've never had anyone, at least from what I've seen in the true crime community, we've never had, I've never seen dog handlers give as much information as you've been able to give us in just this short time. And I've just never seen it, and I've always wondered, like I said, from the Watts case, I've been sitting on that for 5 years, wanting to ask a real dog handler, was that a shit job? I waited 5 years for that.
And I'm glad you brought that up because people ask me that all the time. So that's kind of like I work with law enforcement agencies. Occasionally, especially back in PA, the PA State Police will subcontract me out. And in that case, I can't say a whole lot. But when I'm just consulting with an agency, but I'm not officially on their books, I mean, I can technically talk a lot more because I'm not under restrictions. I'm not under a gag order. I can talk a lot more, but I'll never give away so much that I jeopardize the integrity of the case, if that makes sense. Yep. So I can talk a lot more. I can offer a lot more opinions. Unless I'm under a contract, that's totally different. But since I'm voluntarily doing this and just consulting
you can talk
with TBI,
about what you want to talk about for the most part.
Yeah, but it's if tomorrow Agent Simmons were to be like, hey, you're signing a contract, confidentiality gag order, then I have to be like, well, I definitely can't say anything then. I would honor that. I've been trying to be very careful about what I've said, but I also want to be honest and open with people because there's been so much back and forth, dogs sent to the pond and landfill search, you know what I mean? So it's just, I get the frustration people are feeling. I understand Seth's frustration with law enforcement, but like Tim mentioned earlier, when you've got parents that are very, very emotional and very, very, there was already a mess before this whole Sebastian thing happened. There's high tensions and everything. They don't want any emotional reactivity on either side. So I understand why law enforcement's quiet, but I also understand Seth's frustration. and if Chris and Katie feel that too, and they're not as open about this stuff, I get where everybody's coming from. It's very, very hard.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I've
and you've been
decided
great
to
with,
just
like, both.
forget about them for a minute and go back to Sebastian, because what they've got going on is just way too messy for me to keep. I can't. So
Yeah, and I will say
I
this,
enjoy
my,
hearing this tonight. And someone else said that this coverage brings her calm, and she needed it during this mayhem. So thank you to you and Tim. You grounded us tonight.
Oh, Tim's awesome, but I will say this last thing. Colonel Voice, on my battalion commander, who's been, like, really good, his son actually gave me a BB-8 Funko Pop to, like, give Sebastian, like, if we were to find him and he were to be, okay. Like, I thought that was cute. So I wanted to say thank you to Colonel Voice and his son for doing that. They literally were like, if you see this, give to him, and even still, like, make sure someone in his family gets it.
That's
so,
really
like,
nice.
This little kid, he's so cute. But yeah, thanks, Jay. I appreciate you being so nice and supportive as always.
Yeah, of course.
And again, thank you.
I'll text you with Tim's information too, so you can hook up with him if you want. And when you guys both have, some time, I'd love to have you both on and, take some questions from everybody and hear you guys kind of interact too. It's so interesting. You guys are so smart.
We'll redo that panel that we did the first time, but this time it'll be a lot better because it'll be a lot more. People won't be Googling stuff like somebody else was doing during our last panel. You know what I mean?
No.
So,
yeah, and we'll get. I think maybe we can get everything together beforehand before we just hit that live button, right? Lessons learned, babe. But his dog's name's Bo.
Oh yeah.
Not Tequila.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's a good
Not
thing.
tequila or vodka or
honey,
amaretto, whatever. I don't.
One day we'll laugh about this shit. Don't you worry. One day that will all be a distant memory that we'll be able to really laugh about. So, because really the joke's on her.
I'll get told. Very true. I'll tell Gator and Ara you say hi and good night because Ara's actually she keeps sitting her ball and just dropping in my lap and staring at me. I'm
because
just
she
like,
knows
okay, Ara.
she knows you're talking to me.
Exactly. She's like, listen, I want Jay to come throw the ball for me.
I
so
would
it's
love
gonna
to,
happen.
Ara. I love freaking Ara.
Oh, I know. She's a good girl. Alrighty, well, I'll let you go, but yeah, I'll text you for sure. We'll set some stuff up, and I'll let you know how everything goes. But shout out to the Tennessee Highway Patrol officers. They've been, and Agent Simmons too. He got a lot of crap in the past, and after talking to him like one-on-one on the phone, and just like it made. A lot of things are cleared up, and they're feeling the drama too. They're feeling the pressure. So I will say, if it means anything to anybody out there, that he is trying. It's just there's a lot he's got going on right now.
It sounds like it. I mean, from what we're seeing, is just probably the tip of the iceberg. So I can't imagine what they're dealing with. But thank you for all that you do, hon, and get some sleep and keep us up to date on what's going on next. And I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. I got to go some Black Magic Coffee for Terry Lynn for the weekend. I got to figure out what that is actually, because I don't know what that is. That must be like a Southern thing.
I
have no idea.
I think it's just super, super strong. I think it's on Amazon.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I think it's super, super strong.
Oh.
It'll grow hair on
All
your
right.
chest.
All right, thanks, Jay. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Good night.
All right, bye.
Bye. What an amazing night of callers, you guys. We should end on that great note. Raise the roof. Raise the roof. No, I mean, really. For Tim to call in tonight, amazing. It was great. Melissa, I'll be looking forward to reading your email. Right. She doesn't owe anything. She really doesn't owe an explanation to shit. She really doesn't. Julia has not asked for 1 red cent. Not 1 red cent. She ain't sitting over on TikTok hiding behind her mask or in her box. She's here. She's clicking that live button the other night. And if you didn't see her live the other night, you're going to want to go watch it because she did a great job for her first live. But she's over here clicking that live button when she doesn't even know how to click the live button. Okay, now TikTok Tony's over there clicking the fucking banana, but it goes away. She's not hiding, y'all. She's not hiding. So, yes, I hope you guys had a great takeaway from this show. Chant it, tinfoil. Oh, man. I really appreciate that. I think that we needed this tonight, guys. I think we needed to be grounded a little bit and brought back down to earth, so to speak, you know? Oh, yeah, he's bananaing over there.
Bananas,
So make sure, you guys, that you join me Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We may go live tomorrow, depending on what goes on. So make sure you're subscribed and you've hit that notification bell. You're so welcome, Ganja. Yes, Terry Lynn, will you sing to me? Christ on a cracker for Terry Lynn. And I like eating biscuits and honey. Thank you to all barbecue ladies, peeps in here, all the honeys. Met the clickers tonight. Sticky fingers. Oh my God. Oh, what was that?
Fucking fuzzy slippers and lip gloss.
All right. Good night, you guys. Thank you for all your support tonight. I appreciate you so much. You guys are wonderful. I had to sing about biscuits for you, Terry Lynn. Look at Misty's hearts. Hi, Misty. Good night, Gecko. We got the cloggers and the honeys. And then Terry Lynn has the blouses and the trousers. So Terry Lynn's male listeners are the trousers. The female listeners are the blouses. So Terry Lynn has blouses and trousers. Sub up to Terry Lynn. She'll sing you to bed tonight. Okay, we're going to run our credits. I'll see you guys in the next stream. Thank you all so, so much. Good night. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.
Be sure to check.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care. God almighty. You and your problems. I don't give a damn. Talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your
Roly-poly, daddy's little fatty. Daddy's gonna be a man someday. Roly-poly, daddy's little fatty. Daddy's gonna be a man someday.
We bought snacks because, he's 15 and snacks.
You're making plans to get to France, but don't wanna face it.
Yes, that's loud and beat.
I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Going to the clinker, the big house.
A flung.
I mean, I'm sure there was stuff long and slung and.
You guys want one Jennifer or two Jennifers?
Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Jennifer loves horses. Hi, Jennifer.